problemas y que la sostenibilidad es una prioridad. La historia la escriben los vencedores y nosotros la estamos haciendo. Con servicios de acueducto, alcantarillado, aseo, gestión de residuos, energía eléctrica, gas natural, tecnologías de la información, comunicaciones, TIC y televisión. Estamos cambiando realidades. Somos un ejército silencioso lleno de buenos resultados. Sumamos drásticamente a la competitividad del país. Ejercemos influencia positiva. Somos el cambio. Hacemos el cambio. En los últimos años, generamos millones de empleos, consolidamos centros tecnológicos en línea con tendencias internacionales, abanderamos la equidad de género y empoderamos a la mujer en el sector. Invertimos en infraestructura tecnológica y generamos más bienestar a los usuarios. Nuestras empresas incluyeron en sus planes la generación con fuentes no convencionales de energía para diversificar la matriz eléctrica y atender la demanda. Promovemos los medidores inteligentes, la movilidad sostenible y el rol preponderante que tiene la energía eléctrica y el gas natural en este proceso de contribuir a la calidad del aire y al bienestar de los ciudadanos. Día a día, mejoramos el servicio de acueducto en ciudades y municipios, inauguramos plantas de tratamiento de aguas, entre otras acciones de altísimo impacto. Hoy, estamos pensando en los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible. Abanderamos su causa, pensamos en hacer bosques, en adaptarnos al cambio climático, en sumar al fin de la pobreza, en crecimiento económico, preservación de ecosistemas, en ser agentes generadores de paz y en consolidar alianzas. Los desafíos del mundo son nuestros propios desafíos. Somos la Asociación Nacional de Empresas de Servicios Públicos y Comunicaciones, Andesco. El gremio en el que tiene que estar.
yo quería agradecer esta actividad que ha generado Urbacer, porque es precisamente lo que necesitamos, tener que al mismo tiempo educar no solamente a los estudiantes, sino también a las personas que están involucradas en el manejo de los residuos.
Urbacer viene generando nuevos paradigmas y de verdad está avanzando. Creo que vamos por el camino correcto. Yo creo que necesitamos es más gente. Necesitamos que seamos más que están. Debemos encontrar los medios para encontrarnos. Y yo creo que hoy hay un cambio que es imparable y el mundo está transitando una ciudadanía más ecológica.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias a todos. Les agradezco mucho este espacio que propende básicamente informar a la comunidad en general de los impactos, de los mecanismos de manejo y control, las actuaciones por parte de la corporación y todas esas acciones que vienen articuladas con varios municipios y con la comunidad en general.
Realmente felicitar a Urbacer por este tipo de escenarios, fomentarlos y darles continuidad. Es una acción también muy importante, la divulgación de este tipo de temáticas. Entonces los felicito.
¿Quiénes transforman el mañana? Lo transforman los que hoy entregan lo mejor que tienen para servir a los demás. Lo transforman aquellos que hoy no temen ensuciarse las manos por el bien común. Lo transforman los que hoy construyen el futuro, inculcando un legado ambiental a las próximas generaciones. Lo transformamos todos aquellos que hoy trabajamos por un país sostenible, ponemos el corazón en todo lo que hacemos y servimos con orgullo a nuestras regiones. En Urbacer, hoy transformamos el mañana.
En Urbacer, creemos que con pequeñas acciones logramos grandes transformaciones que permitirán minimizar el impacto en el medio ambiente provocado por la creciente generación de residuos, preservar, conservar y recuperar los ecosistemas, elevar la conciencia ciudadana alrededor de temas medioambientales. Somos líderes mundiales en gestión medioambiental, con presencia en más de 30 países alrededor del mundo. Atendemos a más de 50 millones de personas, gracias a un equipo de 35,000 colaboradores comprometidos con el desarrollo de operaciones responsables, la construcción de comunidades sostenibles y el respeto y la preservación de los recursos naturales. En 2020 regresamos a Colombia, el segundo territorio más biodiverso del mundo, con la firme convicción de ofrecer soluciones que contribuyan a la sostenibilidad y preservación de sus ecosistemas. Hoy somos más de 2,000 personas transformando el mañana. Brindamos servicios ambientales de calidad a más de 2,4 millones de habitantes en los departamentos del Atlántico, Boyacá, Cauca, Chocó, Córdoba, Cundinamarca, Quindío y Valle del Cauca. Contamos con 4 parques tecnológicos ambientales que gestionan los residuos del 10% de los municipios del país y en los que implementamos nuevas tecnologías e innovamos continuamente, en consonancia con nuestra estrategia social y ambiental como miembros del Pacto Global en Colombia. Prestamos servicios urbanos a través del barrido, poda de árboles y corte de césped, el lavado y desinfección de espacios públicos y la disposición correcta de los residuos, ayudando a construir ambientes y ciudades sostenibles. Mensualmente, barremos más de 190.000 kilómetros de calles en diferentes ciudades del país. Recogemos más de 38.000 toneladas de residuos. Cortamos más de 5 millones de metros cuadrados de césped. En nuestros 4 parques tecnológicos ambientales, tratamos y disponemos cada mes más de 70.000 metros cúbicos de lixiviados y disponemos cerca de 50.000 toneladas de residuos. Estamos comprometidos con la dignificación, desarrollo y seguridad de nuestros empleados. Creemos en el trabajo colaborativo hecho con responsabilidad. Impulsamos la creatividad para imaginar nuevas soluciones. Estamos convencidos de que desde la franqueza construimos confianza y sabemos que juntos, hoy, construimos el mañana. Estamos convencidos además de que no basta con prestar servicios eficientes. Es necesario ser partícipes en la transformación de nuestras sociedades y municipios, a través de la educación y la cultura ciudadana. Por eso otorgamos especial importancia al relacionamiento con las comunidades a las cuales servimos. Formar en educación ambiental y contribuir a elevar la conciencia ambiental de los ciudadanos, entendemos que es parte importante de nuestra labor, así como propiciar el uso de tecnologías que conduzcan a hacer realidad la economía circular y contribuir en el diseño y la construcción de ciudades sostenibles y amables con sus ciudadanos. Estamos convencidos del poder que todos tenemos para transformar el mañana. Por eso los invitamos a que juntos recorramos este camino por la construcción de un mejor planeta y una vida sostenible. Colombia lo merece. Todos lo merecemos.
¿Quién dijo que debemos adaptarnos? Nosotros aceptamos las reglas. Somos una nueva generación que no se conforma. Vamos más allá hasta lograr lo que queremos. Somos imparables y no cambiamos. Innovamos para hacer de nuestro mundo una mejor versión. Lo que hacemos, lo hacemos con pasión. Sin excusas, sin prejuicios, ni límites. Alimentamos nuestro espíritu porque creemos. No estudiamos por un título, estudiamos por el país que queremos y nos merecemos. Y si sientes que te faltará algo, no, aquí no te faltará nada. Pase lo que pase, no nos detenemos. Estamos conectados y en todas partes. Compromiso es una palabra grande, pero en la Santoto Tunja nada nos queda grande. Por eso no vamos a parar hasta que tus sueños dejen de ser sueños y se conviertan en una realidad. Por esto y más, soy Santoto.
Presentamos nuestro saludo a todos los asistentes que nos acompañan en este segundo encuentro internacional de gestión de residuos en tiempos de cambio climático. Urbacer, Andesco, Boyacá, 7 días, la Universidad Santo Tomás de la capital del departamento de Boyacá. Vamos a destacar la presencia, Clarita, primero, dándote por supuesto la bienvenida y las gracias por hacernos la invitación a acompañar en este atril, honor para mí. Vamos a destacar entonces los integrantes de la mesa directiva, quienes hoy nos honran con su presencia para hacer la presidencia precisamente de esta actividad que empieza con lujo de detalles y con un aforo más de lo esperado. Bienvenidos a todos ustedes y destaquemos entonces las personalidades que se encuentran.
Claro que sí, maestro. Muy buenos días para ti y para todos los asistentes que nos acompañan el día de hoy desde el Auditorio Mayor de la
Auditorium Major from the Santo Tomás University. As you told me, the main table, we are with the Dr. Alexander, our Major for Boyacá, Fray Garzón Rojas. Also it's with us, Fray José Mancipe from the Santo Tomás University, and from Urbacer, Mr. Oscar Parra, manager of Urbacer, and also our doctor, Luis Felipe Antonio, secretary from Urbacer, Colombia. We have also the presidency of the History Academic. He's with us, our president, Javier Lopez, our history, Gloria de Campo, all the academies, all the environmentalists, all the communication ways, And all the investigators that comes here with a lot of want to know about this recommendation and what means environmental with this time and more what the world needs that we leadership Urbasar.
Segundo encuentro internacional
Our
de
second
prevención de
international
residuos y
meeting
cambio
Waste
climático se
Management
desarrolla el
Times
día
of
de
Climate
hoy en la
Change.
Universidad Santo
We
Tomás
are
y
doing
el
this
día de
event
mañana
here in Santo Tomas
tendremos una
University
visita
and tomorrow
guiada
we
a
will have
nuestro
a
Parque
visit
Ecológico y Tecnológico de Pirgua.
to our
También saludo
technological park in
especialmente
Terwa.
a los
I
líderes
really want
comunales de
to
las ciudades que nos
welcome
acompañan el
to
día
all
de
the
hoy, a
leadership,
la ciudad
social
de Tunja,
leaderships
Suacha,
in the city of
Facatativá,
Tunja,
pero
Suacha,
también a todas las
Facatativá, and
ciudades y
also all
países
the
que nos
cities and
acompañan
countries
a
that
través de la
are with us
transmisión de nuestro
by
canal de
streaming
YouTube
in
en
our
Urbacer
YouTube
Colombia.
channel Urbacer Colombia.
Bienvenidos a ellos,
Welcome
contarles que estamos
everyone.
desde el
Tell us that we
Auditorio
are
Mayor
here
de la
from the
Universidad Santo Tomás.
George
Es por ello que
Morgan
antes de
Auditor.
continuar, maestro, le voy a pedir el máster
I
que nos
want to
presente
ask
el
the
video de
master
seguridad
that
para
show us
todas las
our
personas que estamos presentes en el
security
actual
video,
recinto.
all the people that we are here in the auditorium.
Los frailes de la Orden de Predicadores le damos la bienvenida al primer claustro universitario de Colombia. En este momento, usted se encuentra en el centro de convenciones del edificio Santo Domingo de Guzmán. Para su cuidado y seguridad, antes de empezar el evento, le solicitamos prestar atención a las siguientes indicaciones. Dispóngase a vivir y disfrutar el evento. No use el celular. No consuma alimentos ni bebidas dentro de las instalaciones. En los auditorios, desplácese con tranquilidad, no corra por los pasillos. A continuación le indicaremos brevemente lo que debe hacer en caso de emergencia. Mantenga la calma. No grite. Una vez reciba la orden de evacuación, salga de manera ordenada. Siga las instrucciones de los brigadistas, quienes estarán debidamente identificados. Localice las rutas de evacuación establecidas al interior del auditorio mayor, las cuales lo guiarán hacia las salidas de emergencia, puerta principal hacia el corredor o puerta frontal a mano derecha junto al escenario que conduce al parqueadero. Diríjase al punto de encuentro establecido por el Plan para la Atención de Emergencias, ubicado en el costado sur de la cancha de fútbol, y repórtese con el líder encargado. No obstruya pasillos, puertas ni escaleras. Si encuentra alguna persona en condición de discapacidad, ayúdela a salir. La Universidad Seccional Tunja le desea que su visita a nuestras instalaciones sea cómoda, grata y segura.
Bueno, ¿y por dónde nos pueden
where we can
visualizar en este momento?
visualize
En las
from
redes
here in
sociales, en
the
los diferentes medios de
all
comunicación.
social
También, por supuesto, está
networks.
ligado Boyacá 7 días, con medio aliado.
7 days
Pero ¿por dónde
as
tendremos la
audience,
transmisión
where we
de
are
todos
going to
los
have
panelistas?
our
Muchos
streaming with
intereses,
all our
todos los
speakers,
ustedes
because we have a lot of
internautas,
interest about
preguntar
internets,
dónde estarán
Twitters,
viendo,
where we can see, where we can watch this streaming, that they come from.
Claro que sí,
different
Ricardo.
things.
Yo les cuento entonces a
Of
su
course,
vez a los
Ricardo.
asistentes del Auditorio Mayor de
I
la
want to share
Universidad
with
Santo
you,
Tomás.
Ricardo,
Estamos
all the
transmitiendo
people that
este
is here in the
evento,
auditorium,
el
that we
segundo
are
Encuentro Internacional de
transmit
Gestión de
this, our
Residuos
second
en Tiempos de
international
Cambio
meeting
Climático
of
a través de
waste
nuestro canal de
management
YouTube Urbacer
through
Colombia.
YouTube
Allí
network
podrán
Urbacer
encontrar
Colombia.
dos
There you can
transmisiones,
find two
una de ellas
transmits.
en
First
inglés
one
para
in
las
English
personas que se están
for
uniendo
people
desde
that
otras
are
partes del
connected
mundo
from
y por
other
supuesto
parts
también
around
a
the
través de
world,
nuestro canal
and
de
of
Facebook,
course
con
from
nuestro
our
fanpage Urbacer
Facebook
Tunja y
fanpage
diferentes
Urbacer
fanpage
Tunja
que tenemos
and different
ligados
fanpage
en la
that we
Universidad
have
Santo Tomás y por
in
supuesto
Santo
ya también
Tomas
lo encuentran
University.
en el canal
And
o
you
en los
will
canales
find
digitales de
in
Boyacá
digital
7 días,
channels
aliados
in
estratégicos
Boyacá
en
7
este
Días channel,
evento. Maestro,
alias
dadas
in
estas
this event.
indicaciones, entonces
Mr. According to
iniciamos
these
este evento,
indications,
como
we
tú lo
begin
decías,
our
es
second
gracias a
international
muchas
waste
empresas y
management.
personas
That's
que
we
se han
thank to all
vinculado
the
para dar lo mejor de
companies
sí,
and
aportando
people
a la
that have given
innovación, tecnología y
that they
trabajo
promote
social para
technology,
nuestro
social
país.
work to our
Agradecemos
country. We're really
especialmente a la
thankful
Asociación
to our
Nacional de Empresas de
Association of
Servicios Públicos y
Companies, Empresas de
Comunicaciones,
Servicios Públicos,
Andesco,
Andesco,
a la
to
Universidad
the
Santo
Santo
Tomás,
Tomas
sede Tunja,
University,
y
said
por
Tunja,
supuesto a
and of
Boyacá
course
7
Boyacá
días, especialmente a ti,
especially to
maestro,
you,
que
Mr. Ricardo
desde el
Bautista,
momento
that
cero
from the
creíste
beginning
en
you
este
have
evento,
in
en esta
this initiative
iniciativa,
y
and
hoy
that
se
today
hace
we are
realidad.
making reality.
Aprovecho este
I take
espacio
advantage of
también
this
para
space to take you
contarles a las
about all
personas
the
que están
people
en el
that we are here
auditorio
in the
y
auditorium
quienes nos
and
sigan a
who are
través de
following
redes
with us
sociales,
streaming
como les decía
in
hace un
our
momento,
channel
podrán
of
encontrar
YouTube,
una transmisión especial
a
en inglés
special
para las personas
transmission
que
in
se
English
conectan
that
desde
they are
otra parte
connected
del
from
mundo.
other countries.
Maestro, es un honor para mí
Mr.
estar
It's an honor
presentando el
for
día
me
de
to
hoy,
present with
contigo,
you,
compartir este escenario.
to
Yo
share
les
with
cuento a las
you
personas
this
que
scenario.
seguramente te
I'm telling
reconocen,
you
pero como
that
tenemos
people
invitados
that recognize it
internacionales,
as
quiero
we
contarles
have
que el
guests
maestro
from
Ricardo es
international
reconocido
countries. This
cantautor,
Ricardo is very
periodista y
famous
promotor cultural que ha puesto
interviewer
a Boyacá y al
that
país
has
en
promoted
escenarios
Boyacá
del mundo
in
a través de
worldwide
tu talento
scenarios
y la
throughout the
cultura,
talent
y mejor
and the
que aún
culture,
exponiendo
and
nuestra
much
cultura,
better
idiosincrasia y
exposing
demás. Entonces,
our
muchísimas gracias, maestro, por este honor
culture
y
and
muchísimas
soul.
gracias
Thank you very
a todos
much
por
to you
estarnos
to be
acompañando el
here
día de hoy.
and all people that is here.
Muchas gracias, Merita. Vamos a
Thank you,
iniciar
Clara.
entonces, nos colocamos de pie,
We are
por
going to
favor.
start
Vamos a
today.
escuchar los
We are going to
himnos
listen
de
the
la República de Colombia, el
Colombian
departamento de
anthem
Boyacá y, por
and
supuesto,
Tunja
el
anthem,
himno de la ciudad
and of course
anfitriona, la capital del departamento
our
de Boyacá. Nos
capital
acompañan en el escenario
from
la
Boyacá.
agrupación
We are
Benigno
sharing with
Núñez de la
the
Escuela de
scenario
Música
the
de
band
Tunja,
Benigno
proyecto
Núñez
de la
from the
municipalidad
Tunja
de la
Faculty
Alcaldía Mayor
and
de Tunja.
Project for
Ellos como
Municipality and
finalistas
Tunja. They are
Festival Mono
finalists
Núñez
of
recientemente
the Mono
realizado en
Núñez
Ginebra,
finalists
departamento del Valle del
in
Cauca, bajo
Ginebra,
la
Cali
dirección
del
del
Valle,
maestro Freddy
from
Fonseca.
Mr.
Con
Freddy
ellos
Fonseca.
vamos
With
a
them,
entonar
we are
los
gonna
himnos en las cuerdas
sing
típicas colombianas, el
all
himno
the
nacional de la
anthems. The
República de
first one
Colombia,
is
el himno del
Colombian
departamento
anthem,
de Boyacá y el himno de la
Boyacá
ciudad
anthem,
de
and
Tunja.
also
El grupo
Tunja anthem.
instrumental, el convite
The instrumental
Benigno
band
Núñez.
Benigno Núñez.
Himno del departamento de Boyacá.
Tunja Department anthem.
Qué lindo suenan nuestros himnos en las cuerdas típicas
What
colombianas
beautiful
y
sounds
en la
our
organología de la
anthems
zona andina de Colombia.
by these
Guitarras,
musicians,
bandolas
beatless
y
bandolas,
percusión típica
and
interpretando nuestros
typical
himnos,
percussion that
como lo vamos a
interpret
hacer
our
también
anthems as
con
we
el
are
himno
gonna
de la
listen
capital del
with the
departamento de Boyacá.
Tunja capital anthem.
Escuchamos los himnos, muchas
We
gracias.
listen our anthems. Thank you very much. You can
A
sit
través
down.
del convite instrumental de la Escuela de Música de Tunja.
This is our
Bueno, y
musician
ya que lo están
school of
haciendo,
Tunja.
entreguémosle un aplauso a
And
estos
now,
niños
yes,
que
a big
interpretan
clap
nuestros
to our
símbolos.
teenagers that interpret our symbols.
Muchísimas gracias al
Thank you very
convite
much
Benigno
to
Núñez,
complete
al
Benigno
maestro Freddy
Núñez,
Fonseca,
to
la
Mr.
Escuela de
Freddy
Música de Tunja,
Fonseca,
de la
to the
Secretaría de
Musician
Cultura
Tunja
Civil
School,
de la ciudad de Tunja y la Alcaldía Mayor de la capital
and
del
the mayor
departamento de Boyacá.
of Tunja.
Bueno, Clarita, y tenemos una
Okay,
sorpresa.
Clarita,
Qué
we
mejor
have a
hacerlo
surprise,
el día de hoy
and what's
cuando
better than doing
Urbacer
today,
está de fiesta,
where
cuando
Urbacer
el
is
medio
spreading,
ambiente está de
that the
fiesta,
environment
gracias a
is
esta
spreading,
iniciativa
thanks to
que ha
this
tenido
initiative that we
para que
have
hoy podamos hoy y mañana reflexionar
today,
en torno
that we can
a nuestro
reflect
medio
today,
ambiente y podamos tener también
according to
anidados en el corazón
our
esos mensajes que nos tiene que
environment
entregar
and the
la
messages
naturaleza
that the
para
nature
cuidarla,
wants to share
para
with
que
us,
deje de ser
to take care
eslogan
about
y
it,
lo convirtamos en
that
una
lets to be a
realidad.
slogan and to
Entonces
make
hay
us a
una
reality.
sorpresa muy
So
interesante
we have a
que el doctor
very
Oscar
interesting
y todo
surprise, and
el personal
our
de Urbacer
Dr.
quiere
Oscar and all
hoy
Urbacer
inaugurar,
personal want to
instalar y por
install,
supuesto donde hemos
and
sido
of course
un
where we
poquito
have
aliados y
been
cómplices
allies and
de esa idea.
compliance of this idea.
Esa
This
que
idea
comentas, maestro,
that
esta
you
sorpresa
comment,
que estás
Mr.
anunciando,
that you are announcing,
doctor Pablo Felipe, que nos
Dr. Pablo
acompañas hoy en
Felipe,
el
that you are
escenario,
sharing with
al
us in the
doctor
stage,
Oscar, a los
Dr.
directivos
Oscar
de
and
todo
all the
Urbacer
directive of
Colombia,
Urbacer
pero por
Colombia,
supuesto al
and of
equipo de
course all
todo
the
Urbacer
team
a
of
nivel país,
Urbacer
más de 2.000
Colombian
personas
level,
que
more than
trabajamos por la sostenibilidad de
2,000
nuestros
people that work for
territorios.
the
Esta es
sustainability
una
of
sorpresa
our
para
territories.
ellos,
This is a
una
surprise for
sorpresa que
them.
hemos hecho con amor y
This is a
que
surprise that we
quiero
have
contarles que de
done my
manera
love, and I
bondadosa,
want to share with you with
desinteresada y genuina por parte del maestro, que
with
fue el
love we have
compositor
done this
de este
composition
himno, le voy a
of
llamar yo
this
el día de
anthem.
hoy,
I'm
es
gonna
nuestro himno,
call
pues
like
hemos
this.
producido para
We have
estas cerca de 2.000
produced
personas que
to these
prestan el
2,000
servicio público
people
de
that
aseo en las
share with
ciudades
us
y servicios ambientales en todo el
environmental
territorio
services in all
nacional.
the
Entonces, a
Colombian
continuación
territory.
les presentamos, y
So
es un gran detalle para todo
this
este
is a big
equipo,
detail
por
for
supuesto,
all
para que ustedes
our
también se
team,
sientan
and
representados
of course
con
that you feel
Urbacer, el
representative
himno
with
de la
Urbacer,
empresa.
our Urbacer anthem.
Transformando el mañana sobre el alma de la tierra, voy dejando mi huella en el fulgor de las estrellas.
Protegiendo la esfera, respetando la escarcha, con la siembra amorosa para un bosque de nostalgia.
Es la voz de la entraña, en montañas y valles, hoy va a ser el futuro, el pulmón de los Andes.
Bueno, esa es la imagen ya oficial, institucional, en la parte sonora. ¿Qué tal si lo repetimos? Porque es que un jingle, canción,
would you like to
hay que
repeat
volverlo a asimilar
this?
nuevamente para que
We
podamos
can assimilate to
podamos entender
understand
también su letra y podamos entender por qué
this
el cuidar la
letter
escarcha,
and
porque se
why
nos están
it's
degradando
important
los
to
montes,
care
se está
our
acabando
nature
el medio
because
ambiente,
our
para
environment
acariciar
is
el planeta,
sending,
para
so
poder dejar la
we are
huella
going
con
to
el
caress
fulgor de
our
las estrellas,
planet
y
to
todo
feel
esto que
closer
narra
to the
este pequeño
stars and
jingle, que
all
hoy en
that
día ya no se
says
usan los
this
himnos
English that
de
today we
coros
don't
y 3, 4
use this
estrofas,
type
sino
of
se usa es
anthems.
el jingle canción para que
We
quede
repeat
mucho
the
en la
jingle
memoria
because
y en la
this
retina
help
de
us to
todos
remind
los colombianos en
the
este momento y de
propósito
todo el
of the
mundo.
anthem.
Vamos entonces a
So we are
rodarlo
gonna
una vez más para poderlo empezar a
play
interiorizar,
again
aunque va a sonar durante todos
until it's gonna
estos 2
sound
días, durante todo el
those
tiempo,
2
para que lo
days
vayamos
because we
incorporando un
want
poco
to
más al corazón
incorporate
y al espíritu.
in our hair, in our spirit.
Maestro, antes de que nos lo
Mister,
presente
before to
nuevamente,
present
que
before,
también estuvimos acompañados del
we
maestro
are
Germán Moreno
with
Sánchez, que es
Master
experto
Maestro
sonidista tunjano, que nos
Tunjano
acompañó en todo el tema
that
de
was with
sonido y toda
us
la
in
elaboración
all
de
the sound
este
and the
jingle o
was
himno, como
a,
lo he llamado el
big
día de hoy.
collaboration.
Entonces, Master, por
For
favor.
this anthem, please.
Transformando el mañana sobre el alma de la tierra, voy dejando mi huella en el fulgor de las estrellas.
Protegiendo la esfera, respetando la escarcha, con la siembra amorosa para un bosque de nostalgia.
Es la voz de la entraña, en montañas y valles, hoy va a ser el futuro, el pulmón de los Andes.
Yo le confieso, maestro, que cuando lo escuché se me erizó la piel porque me sentí totalmente representada en la música, en la letra. Entonces, agradecerte a ti este trabajo de manera bondadosa y desinteresada que nos entregas el día de hoy.
Damos nuestro granito de arena al planeta y lo hacemos de manera honesta y sincera. Vamos a dar entonces a proseguir ya con las intervenciones en la parte protocolaria para poder también entrar de lleno en toda la actividad académica que ha tenido ya prevista durante estos 2 días. Destacamos nuevamente la presencia de los medios de comunicación, de los ambientalistas que poco a poco siguen llenando el aforo de este bellísimo escenario de la Universidad de
Santo Tomás
Auditorium,
Auditorium, an vanguardist auditorium that led us as a capital in another level, in another stage, where the big stages in the culture.
Maestro, entonces doy
Mister,
saludo al
so
doctor
I
Oscar
want to
Parrairazo,
greet
gerente de
Mr.
Urbacer
Marco
Regional
Rolando,
Nororiente,
management
quien lideró y abanderó esta cumbre, este encuentro ecológico, y lo invito al estrado
and I
para
want to
iniciar
invite
la
you
instalación del
to
evento,
start the
doctor
installment
Oscar.
of the
Bienvenido.
event. Dr. Oscar, welcome.
Muy buenos días a todos ustedes, un cordial saludo
Everyone, a cordial
a
greeting for
quienes
you,
hoy también
to
nos
people that
representan a
represent
Urbacer,
us,
a
Urbacer,
Pablo Felipe Arango,
Pablo
nuestro
Felipe
secretario
Arango,
general,
our
a
General
Fray
Secretary,
Fernando, quien, y
de
todo el
Fernando,
equipo de verdad
and
de
all
la
the team
Universidad Santo Tomás,
of
sin
Santo
ellos
Tomás
no hubiera
University.
sido
With
posible
them we
todo este
couldn't
evento y muchas otras cosas que
accomplish
hemos ido
this
desarrollando de manera
that we have
mancomunada.
developed.
A nuestro alcalde de Oicatá,
To our
vecino del
major,
parque ambiental que se visitará el día de mañana. También un cordial
also, I
saludo
would like to greet
a nuestros queridos ponentes,
to
a
our dear
Alexander
speakers,
Guevara de la
Alexander
Procuraduría
Guevara
Regional.
from the
La
General
verdad
Procuraduría.
es muy dichoso, muy
Really,
placentero
we are
estar en
very
este
happy
segundo
to,
encuentro.
in our second
Hace aproximadamente ya 20 meses en
almost
plena
20
pandemia hicimos el
months,
primero.
we did our
Les quiero
first
explicar porque
meeting. We want to
evidentemente siendo el
explain to you
segundo encuentro casi con el
why in
mismo
our
título
second
de
meeting
rellenos
is almost the
sanitarios
same title,
y en época de cambio climático,
and
porque creo que es un
climate
tema de la agenda
change
mundial,
time,
de la agenda local
because it's
también,
important
de
to
la
local
preocupación que tenemos
and
todos los habitantes del
worldwide
planeta de
topic,
que
va a
that all
pasar. Han
as
habido
habitantes we
muchos
need to
hitos de
know
eventos, el
what is going to
COP27,
happening
Escazú,
about,
etcétera. Creo que
etc.
las actuales, digamos, los actuales gobernantes, como el sector
Governments,
privado, muy
as a
preocupados y
private
de
sector,
manera unida para hacer acciones concretas
they
de
want
ecología,
to
medio ambiente, para
do
cambiar
ecological achievement to
definitivamente
change
esa tendencia que
the
puede
tendency
ser
that
adversa
could
para la especie
be
humana.
adverse
De
to
tal manera que
human
traer este
species.
tema a
We
propósito
want
de
to
los
bring
rellenos
this
sanitarios es una
topic
conexión
proposed about
evidentemente
the
coherente con
landfills
todo
that
lo
it's
que van
very
a ver
occurring. What you are going
a
to
lo
see
largo de este
on
evento.
this event.
También quiero saludar
Also,
en
I
manera
want
especial a
to
todos los
greet
líderes,
all the
los líderes
leaders,
sociales, los líderes
social
ambientales,
leaders,
estudiantes,
environmental leaders,
académicos
academics,
que
students
nos visitan hoy
that are
de todo el
visiting
país
us
prácticamente, de este
from
sector
all
central
the
en
country,
especial y
especially
conectados de
here
todo el
in the
país
middle
porque
of the
Urbacer
country,
se
because
encuentra
Urbace
en más de 11
has presence in
operaciones.
more than 11
Un saludo
operations.
especial también
A
a la
very special
Academia
greet to
de
the
Historia,
Academy,
con quienes
Story
estamos
Academy,
haciendo un
where
trabajo
we are
también
working
interesante, creo que único,
interesting work.
de introducir el módulo de la
I'm going to
ancestralidad.
introduce about ancestrality.
Lo ambiental a veces
The
no solo es el
environmental
tema
not
de la
just is
biota,
the
del
topic about the
ecosistema natural
ecosystem, natural ecosystem
que se tiene alrededor, sino también la
that we have
cultura. La
surrounding,
cultura,
but
porque la
also the
cultura
culture,
tiene que ver con los seres
because
humanos,
the
todo
culture
lo
is
que
related
hemos
with
transformado y hecho alrededor
human,
de estos
and
ecosistemas,
we
tiene que ver con
are done
el tema
about this
cultural y
environment and the
obviamente esto tiene
cultural.
una
And
ancestralidad, una
obviously,
historia y
this
parte del
ancestrality,
componente que queremos
we have a
desarrollar en el
component
parque en particular
that we have to
de
develop
Pirma
in the
va a
park,
ser ese componente y de
and the
verdad con
component
los mejores de los
with the
mejores de
best
Boyacá y Colombia,
of the
creo yo,
best Boyacá
aquí con
and
el maestro
Colombia. I
Javier Campo
believe
y
with
Nelly nuestros
Mr.
grandes
Javier
aliados.
Campo and our
Y
alliances, and
para darles también la bienvenida
to
a todos
welcome
los que nos visitan de
all the
distintos sectores
visitors from
sociales,
different
académicos,
social,
productivos de
productive
la alcaldía de Tunja.
sectors from
Evidentemente darles nuestro
major
saludo a nuestro
Tunja.
socio de
We want to
primera
greet
línea.
you to
Y
our
finalmente
show.
decirles que son bienvenidos, que va a haber,
And
de
we're going to
verdad
show
les
you that you are
digo,
welcome.
una profunda reflexión
A
con
deeper
académicos
reflection
y con
with
personas
academics
que
and
vienen
people that come
de buena parte del
from
mundo a hacernos
different
unas
type of countries of work.
acotaciones, y aquí lo que
We want
vamos a
to
hacer
do
es un
some
taller de
comments. We are
aprendizaje.
going to do a
Siendo
workshop
Boyacá,
of
como
knowledge,
dice el
being
himno, taller
Boyacá
de la libertad,
as
quisiéramos
Liberty workshop.
de
We want
estos
to share
procesos
with you about these
académicos
processes
se vuelva un taller de aprendizaje de
and
cómo manejar
learning
los
workshop
residuos
how
sólidos
to
urbanos
manage
en ciudades
the
sostenibles
waste
en
in
un momento en
sustainable
que hay
cities
variabilidad climática, en
in a
que
time when
todo
we
este
different
año pues evidenciamos
change,
en Tunja
climatic
también
change,
algo que
as
no
we can see
sucedía
here
en
in
otras
Tunja that
épocas.
never has
Lluvias
happened. For
intensas,
example, here in
tenemos en
Tunja, we
los
have a
indicadores
lot
de
of
meteorología
rain.
unos picos
We have
altísimos de estos
a
días en época
lot
que
of,
normalmente era seca. Estamos viviéndolo allá y obviamente las ciudades que no tienen buenos
and the
drenajes
cities
pues
that
nos va
doesn't have a
a
good
estar más
aqueduct
preocupados con este tema. Y
is
nosotros
stressed
pues
about this
nuestros
topic,
residuos sólidos
and that we that manage the waste, solid wastes,
operarios,
we work with our
líderes
operators, our leaders
de servicios ambientales
of
a ofrecer. De
environmental
manera
service,
que
what we are doing.
al estar aquí
So in this way,
de primera línea
in
van a ver
first
unas
line,
reflexiones
you are gonna
importantísimas.
see
Hay
very important
personas como el
reflections are
maestro
people
Marcel
like
Santoco,
Mr.
con quien
Master
hemos hecho varios
Sanstock,
eventos en
which
Colombia y en Sudamérica
we are doing a lot of
acerca de estas reflexiones de cómo van
events and
los residuos
reflections
sólidos. Y él tiene una pregunta
about the
interesantísima.
solid
Oigan, si son
waste.
necesarios aún
They have a very
con la
important
tecnología, con todos los
question.
avances que estamos
It's
haciendo
really
en el mundo,
important.
los rellenos sanitarios,
The
es una pregunta
landfills,
interesante que él
it's
de
a
manera
very
profunda,
important
locuaz y
question
sabia
and
lo va
interesting
a intentar responder y
that
nosotros
he's
obviamente
gonna
vamos a
try
aprender mucho de
to
ello.
give an answer.
En todas las ciudades del mundo
In all the cities
existen los
exist
trabajadores del reciclaje, los
the
operarios o
recycled
recicladores o
workers,
tratadores, que
operators, or
en otras partes tienen
that.
denominaciones, tal vez
In other
Pietro
countries, they
Luti
have
nos
another
va a ilustrar un
determinations.
poco más
Pietoluti,
profundamente
they're gonna
este
show
tema,
you
cómo
another,
está en la esfera,
deeper in
cómo
this
está la
topic.
condición
How is
sostenible
this
y
atmosphere?
cómo está ese tema de
How it
la
is
población recicladora. ¿Por qué
about
lo
the
traemos a
recycled
colación?
population
Porque
and
de
why we are
manera
gonna speak about this topic,
para a par tenemos que ver en las calles
because we
nosotros
have
los
to see
operadores de
in the
servicios
streets
ambientales con ellos.
as
Nos
operators
encontramos en
with
toda
the
parte del mundo y
recyclers,
evidentemente
And we can see in all cities in Tunja, Duitama, this is a reality social that is important to take in account because also regulatory system taken in account. So we have a lot of proposals to do it. Also, we will have our virtual speaker in the morning in Spain, Telma Sulni. It's a Brazilian person from the Brazilian Agency of Public Agency, and a big reflection of how we can do something that we want to put something that don't be a paradigm, how the waste can be an opportunity to be transforming in energy and power. And finally, we will have a very Colombian expert from the AN Academy, Jose Alejandro Martinez. In the evening, he's going to speak about the circular economy and how we can concrete to publish and to develop projects in Colombia with the experience that he has in academy. So I'm very grateful to the people that is here, to you in a massive way. Has come this part of the challenge was to have some issues in the auditorium, but this is a beautiful place. I'm very pleasure to have this public right now, also virtual. So enjoy our meeting and thank you very much. Boyacá 7 días, Santo Tomás, our first audience, first line. Mr. Bautista that has always been with us and accompanying this and author of this a very beautiful song that has led us to introduce. Welcome, thank you very much, and enjoying our academic day that Urbaser is inviting you.
Muchas gracias, doctor Oscar,
Thank
por
you very much,
este
Mr.
reto tan interesante
Oscar,
que
for
nos
this
has
big challenge
puesto en
that
este segundo
you
encuentro
have
internacional de gestión
taken
de
us in our
residuos en
second
tiempos de
international
cambio
meeting
climático.
of
Doy en este momento
waste
la
management in
bienvenida
times
al
of
doctor
climate change. I
Alexander
want to
Guevara,
welcome
él es
Alexander
procurador
Guevara.
general
He is
de
our
Boyacá,
procurator
a quien le
in
pedimos
Boyacá.
también sus palabras de
So we
bienvenida
want
a
to
este
ask him
segundo encuentro
a welcome
internacional
words in our
de
second
residuos
international
en
meeting
tiempos de cambio climático.
of
Doctor Guevara.
waste management in times of change climate. So welcome, Mr. Procurator. Thank you so much. Good morning for all the assistants, virtual and present in this interesting event. Maybe I want to do a reflection about global warming, about the times that we are living, I believe, the effect about water crisis. We are seeing how the Boyacá department has some emergencies, almost 120 municipes. No one has been, except so this speak about the necessity to focus all our academic effort institutionalists, personalists about our responsibility, how our relation is with the environment. This is academic scenarios of reflection where the different ways of see points of view. So we are in the difference, and the reflections that we can create are very values to each one as individuals responsible in our society. It's very interesting to receive this type of invitations. Therefore, that as a private company create topics to discuss and to bring us in different actors, and it's very, very. Thank you very much. I want to greet to end our welcome greet. I think that we have to greet each people that works in the cleaning services, this final disposal, that activity that maybe we may appreciate, our recuperators, that we don't take them in account, that we become them invisible because we don't want to see them, but thanks to the work of all the force that they create daily for recover what we produce in our normal activity because we are productive waste. From where we wake up, we are immersed in this. To those people that sometimes we don't want to see them because our blind don't allow them to greet them, but this type of events we want to recognize them. As from Procuraduría, we want to support them and to recognize them. To them, thank you very much, and to the workers of all the supply chain ways, and thank you very much. Thanks. To you, Mr. Guevara, for your message, for your reflection, and a lot of reflections we will have for these 2 days, Clara. We will have the conscience about the environment, the nature side. Does that correspond to everyone? For that, we have our national policy, our maximum institution about security in the country that is accomplished with the environment, the academy, the universities, different centers, universities, all directors, teachers, guides for the users, and all that we can do in this topic that we have and use to save the environment and to protect it, to care about it, because it's the biggest hardship that we are going to give
Así
to
es,
our
maestro.
child.
Nuestro Encuentro
That
Internacional de
is,
Gestión de
Mr.
Residuos visitará el día de mañana el
Tomorrow,
Parque Ecológico y
we are going
Tecnológico
to
de
visit
Pigua,
the
que
Technologic
está ubicado
Park
en la
in
vereda con el
Pigua, that
mismo
is in
nombre
Vereda,
en la ciudad de
in the
Tunja.
ciudad
Pero también
Tunja.
somos
But
vecinos,
also,
por supuesto, del
we are
municipio
neighbors
de
from the
Oicatá. Es
Oicata
por eso
municipality.
que invito y doy la
For
bienvenida al
this, I want
ingeniero
to
Freddy
invite
Garzón Rojas,
the
alcalde
engineer
de
Freddy
este
Rincon and
municipio,
the
que nos
major from this
acompaña el día
municipality
de hoy.
that is with us.
Muy buenos días a todos.
Good morning, everyone.
Saludo
I
al
want
doctor
to
Alexander Guevara,
thank you to
procurador,
Mr.
las
Procurator,
directivas de Urbacer,
to the
por
Urbaster
supuesto, a las
Directive, and of course
directivas
to
de esta prestigiosa
this
universidad.
prestigious University Santo
Y a todos y cada
Tomas
una de las
Institution.
personas que hoy nos
I
acompañan,
want to
a todos los líderes sociales, a los líderes ambientales.
thanks to all the
Decirles a
environmental
ustedes
leaders
que
and the people that is here. I want to tell
nosotros
you
como
that we as
políticos, como
politicians
dirigentes,
or dirigents,
siempre que estamos haciendo
always
campañas
that
nos
we are doing
enfocamos
campaign,
en el cambio del medio
we
ambiente.
talk about the
Esa es como nuestra
global warming.
plataforma
This is like
de
our
poder
platform
llegar
to
a
reach
un cargo, a una magistratura como la que hoy tenemos.
as a
Pero
big position, but
desafortunadamente
unfortunately,
muchos de nosotros se
a
nos
lot of
olvida
us we
que el camino
forget
es ese,
on the way on
o eso
this
que tenemos
path
que hacer,
what we have to
y
do,
es impulsar el
and
cambio
we want to
climático, no
promote
solamente
the
en el tema de energía
change
solar,
climate, not just in
no
solar
solamente
energy, not
en el
just
tema de
in
residuos sólidos, sino algo muy
solid
importante,
waste, but
y es
something
que
very important.
siempre nosotros vemos que botamos
That is
un
that
papelito
we
por la
always
ventana
throw
de
by
los
the
vehículos.
window of
Y ahí
cars
inicia y arranca
some waste.
hacer el
So
cambio
we have
climático.
to,
Hoy miramos que muchos de
in
nuestros
paths like
municipios
this,
están
we have
inundados,
to initial. So we
nuestras
have seen that
ciudades, y
a
vamos
lot
a
of
mirar y
municipalities
decimos, oiga,
with
las
aqueduct
alcantarillas llenas de basura, llenas de papel.
find a lot of
Y
in
empezamos a
our
hablar, es que
strategy
el alcalde, es que
of
Urbacer no
garbage.
hizo el
So we
trabajo.
start to speak about
Pero no nos
Urbacer,
sentamos a mirar
about the major,
realmente
but we
de dónde viene
really
el cambio
don't
climático. Y
reflect,
es de
take a
tener esa
reflection
conciencia
by
de la
our. We need to take a conscience of each
tanto de nuestros
of our
municipios
citizens
como
from
nuestros
our
habitantes que llegan.
municipes, so
Yo
the
miraba hace unos
citizens that
días
arrive. So
algo que impacta al
sometimes
mundo y que lo
I
hablaban
saw
muchos
something that
medios de
impact the world,
comunicación,
that a lot
pero
of
que finalmente nunca lo colocan
communication
en práctica. Miramos a los
we talk about.
japoneses
We
en un
seen
estadio recogiendo
from in Japan in the stadium, pick up the garbage. It was a boom for everyone.
pero ojalá eso nos hubiera quedado
But I hope
algo
that
a los
something about it
colombianos o a nosotros los ciudadanos de hacerlo
be in
en un
our
estadio
conscience
del país.
to do it in
Vamos a ver cómo
our
lo van a hacer.
surrounding in our stadiums. Let's see where we are gonna do
Nosotros
this.
miramos lo que hacen los demás,
We look
los
what
admiramos,
others
pero
do, we admire them,
no
but
copiamos lo
definitely
bueno de
we don't copy the big
Entonces,
and the
el
good
municipio de
things,
Oicatá,
the good
o en
tasks.
este caso, el alcalde de
The
Oicatá,
municipality of
les va a hacer
Okata,
un
the
pequeño
Oikata
recuento
mayor,
de lo que
wants
era el
to
relleno
talk
sanitario.
what was the
Yo duré 12
landfill.
años en el Consejo
I was
Municipal
12
desde el
years
año
in the
2000
municipal
hasta el
council
año 2012.
from 2000
Y fui una de las
until
personas que más peleé en el tema del
2020,
relleno
and I
sanitario
was a person
cívico,
who always
de
was
acción popular, en
talking
su
about,
momento. Porque como todo el mundo, todos
because
hablamos de que tenemos que hacer
everyone
cambio
speak about the
en el tema de
changement
medio ambiente,
that we
pero
must to do in the
ninguno quiere
environment,
dejar colocar
but nobody want
explícito
to
algo
do
de
it
eso.
something like this.
En el año 2001
In year
se inicia el relleno
21,
sanitario
we
haciendo
initiate the landfill.
no precisamente donde está,
No,
sino
where is
donde hoy
right now
existe algo de pavimentos. Ahí
something
inició el
of
relleno
streets.
sanitario. Acá
It
en
was
Colombia,
where
donde yo vivía,
landfill started.
a
I used to
500
live
metros del relleno sanitario en ese momento.
500 meters from the landfill.
Luego cambiamos,
After this, we
o se cambió a
changed
Pirgua,
to Pirwa.
se venía trabajando.
We were working there.
Definitivamente era un desastre, un
Definitely, it
tema muy
was a
complejo.
disaster, it was a big issue.
Empezamos a trabajar fuerte desde el
We
municipio de Oicatá,
began
desde el consejo y desde las
to work
autoridades
very hard with the
pidiendo que por
authorities,
favor nos ayudaran
asking to
por
help
los
us.
olores.
The
Está a
smell
1
of
kilómetro y
Boycata,
medio,
that it's
menos,
1
kilómetro
kilometer
y medio
or less
en línea recta.
in
En ese
a
momento,
straight
algún día
line.
el magistrado que hicimos una demanda dijo, no, pero es que está más
One
de
day
2
the
kilómetros.
magistrate said that
Los
was
olores,
too much,
los olores,
and the council,
los olores no bajan,
I told her to the
los
council,
olores
the smells go straight.
así vino trabajando durante muchos años.
I was working like
Y
this
yo
for
hoy
a
no
lot
estoy
of
aquí
years,
para
and
defender a
now
Urbacer.
I'm here to defend Urbacer. I'm here to recognize the good work.
Yo, el primer
Job.
año que tuve con el problema como
The
alcalde
first
municipal, tuve muchas
year that I
dificultades.
had as a major, I had a lot of difficulties, and the first one, the COVID,
Yo le
and
digo,
second,
ingeniero, hemos tenido
the
problemas.
smells. But
Claro,
now,
como cualquier
I
persona,
asked as the engineer if you have problems, and I said, of course,
pero las mejoras
as
han sido
everyone.
también muy importantes.
But improvements that we have done
Derecho a la
have
misma.
been
Hay que reconocer
very
las dos
important. We
cosas,
have to recognize both
dificultades, pero
the
también
difficulties and
lo que
also
ustedes han hecho en
that
el
they
trabajo
have done
nuestro.
in our work.
Nosotros hemos tenido una
We
buena
have
aceptación con
a good
Urbacer, hemos
acceptance
tenido
with
un buen
Uzbaser,
trabajo con el
a
ingeniero
good
Oscar,
job with Oscar
pero
Engineer,
decirles a todos ustedes
but I
que
want to
tenemos
tell
que
you
empezar
that
a
we
mirar
have
nuevas tecnologías y
to
ese es uno de
see
los temas que ustedes
new
como
technologies and you
especialistas,
that
como
are
las personas que
specialists
vienen
and
a hacer las
people that
ponencias
come
son los
with
que
the
conocen.
speakers are
A veces
people that really know
nosotros
about
como
the topic.
políticos
Sometimes us
pensamos
as a
saber de
politicians,
energía
we
eléctrica,
think that we
de
believe about
solar,
electric
energía
energy,
eólica, mejor
aeolic,
dicho, los políticos saben de todo, pero vamos
but
a hablar del tema técnico y no
but
lo
in the
conocemos.
technician
Hoy
topic
tenemos
we
que
don't know
empezar a
about it.
aprender es
We
de las
know to
personas que
start to
conocen.
know about the
Por
speakers and
eso,
really the
invitar a
people that
todos
really
y
know
cada una
about
de
it.
las personas
I want to
también,
invite everyone.
que es uno de los problemas que tenemos nosotros
This
en el
is one of
departamento y en
our
Colombia,
main topics that we have
y es
in
que
the
todos
Parliament in
hablamos
Colombia.
también del
It's
cambio
that everyone
climático, como lo estaba
speaks
comentando,
about the
pero
climate
hoy
change,
mirábamos en nuestro municipio de
but
Oicatá, que
we
es uno
can
de los
see right
municipios
now
que
that
por
Oicata
excelencia en
department,
el tema
municipality,
de los parques
that
solares, la gente se opone.
when we
Algunos se
talk
oponen.
about
Y
the
uno va y
solar
mira y dice,
parks, we have a
son
lot of
aquellos
people
que
that
siempre han sido
go against it. But it's this type of
Yo hoy soy del
people
Partido Verde. Yo digo,
that
a
now
veces tenemos que empezar a
from
dialogar
other
y entendernos
politics
en medio
ideas.
de
I think that we have to
las controversias que podemos tener, como decía
controversies
nuestro
that,
procurador.
as our procurator
Tenemos
said,
que dialogar,
we have
no
to
oponernos,
speak, dialogue,
mirar cómo
don't
podemos mejorar
confront,
la
see
calidad
how
de
we can
vida y la
improve
calidad de
the
ambiente,
life quality,
pero
the
dialogando.
environmental quality,
Alguna persona
but
tendrá que hacerlo.
speaking in a
Algún
good
municipio
way.
tendrá que colocar
Some
factores para hacer
municipality
esos cambios
has
climáticos.
to do this
Y pues
type of
nosotros no podemos
change climate, but we don't can be.
tenemos que mejorar la
We
calidad
have
de
to
vida,
improve
pero
the
pues obviamente
life quality,
aceptar
but
también
obviously
las
we
necesidades
have to
que
accept the
tienen los
necessities
cambios climáticos.
that the climate
Pues de esta forma,
change
pues le
make
agradezco a
us.
Urbacer, le
So
agradezco a
I
todos
really
y cada
thank
uno de
you,
ustedes,
Urbaser,
y
and
que
each
Oicatá
of you
está para
guys.
crecer, como dice mi eslogan.
Oicata
Oicatá
is
crece en
to
buenas
grow.
manos y no es en las manos del alcalde,
Oicata
es
is
en las
growing in
manos de
good
todos y cada uno de ustedes que
hands
nos puedan aportar un
of
granito
all
de
of
arena
you guys
para
that
que
can help
Oicatá,
us. That
Tunja y Boyacá
Oicata,
tenga un mejor
Tunja,
medio
Boyacá
ambiente.
have
Dios
a
los
better
bendiga, un
environment.
abrazo a todos.
Thank you so much.
Ingeniero, muchísimas gracias
Engineer,
por
thank you
este
so
recuento
much
que nos has hecho
for
de nuestro relleno.
are you taking.
Y adicional, pues quiero
And
contarles que
additionally,
este evento
I want
fue
to talk
acogido y
about that this
promovido
event was
asimismo por la
promoted
Universidad Santo
by
Tomás.
Santo
Es por
Tomás.
ello que doy la
It's for
palabra
this that I
al
would
Fray
like to
José
give the
Fernando Macipe OP,
word to
decano de la División de Arquitectura e
Decano
Ingenierías de la Universidad Santo
from
Tomás
Engineer
de la ciudad de
University
Tunja.
of Tunja
Muchísimas
University.
gracias a la
Thank you so
Universidad
much,
Santo
Allah,
Tomás, y
to the
decíamos y
University Santo
celebramos
Tomás.
Fray,
And
la
we have seen
llegada de
that
este
we celebrate
auditorio, la
Friday
cultura colombiana,
to the
la cultura
Colombian
nacional,
culture,
la
to the
cultura
national
regional,
culture,
y por
to the
supuesto
regional
sabemos
culture.
que ya se
And
ha
of
dicho, pero
course,
este va a
we
ser el
know that
escenario de
it
grandes,
has
grandes
done a
eventos
lot of
de la
events, but
cultura
this is
de
going to be
Colombia. Muchas
a
felicitaciones.
place where we are going to do great
Muchas
events. Thank you
gracias,
so much.
Ricardo. Presento un saludo
Thank you so much,
cordial
Ricardo.
de
I
bienvenida
present a very great
a la decana
welcome
académica
to
de nuestra
our
Facultad de
decana
Ingeniería Ambiental,
from
la ingeniera Luz Ángela
our
Cuello,
engineer Luz Ángela
a
Cuello,
las autoridades de policía,
to the
doctor
police
Oscar Parra,
authorities, to
gerente de
Mr.
Urbacer,
Oscar Parra,
a Alexander Guevara,
Director of
procurador
Urbacer,
en Boyacá,
Alexandra Guevara,
al señor alcalde
Procurator
Freddy Garzón,
Freddy Garzón,
alcalde
the
de
Major,
Oicatá,
Oicatá Major,
a Pablo Felipe
to
Arango,
Pablo Felipe
secretario
Arango,
general de Urbacer
General
Colombia,
Secretary of Urbacer
a
Colombia,
nuestros docentes,
to our teacher
estudiantes,
students,
a las entidades organizadoras de este
to
segundo encuentro
organizations,
internacional
entities of
sobre
our
gestión de
second international
residuos
meeting
en
about
tiempos de cambios
waste
climáticos,
management in times of climate
entre
change,
ellas Urbacer,
like Urbacer,
Andesco, los
Andesco,
medios de comunicación como Boyacá 7 días,
Boyacá 7
a los
días,
ponentes nacionales
to
e
the national and
internacionales
international speakers,
Pietro Lupi,
Pietro
Telma
Lupi,
Sumi,
Telma Sumi,
Marcel Santo y José
Marcel
Martínez,
Santos, José Martínez,
a los miembros de la Escuela de Música de
and the
Tunja quienes nos
members of the
acompañaron
School of
con
Musicians
las
that
notas de los himnos
played with us
de
from the
nuestro
different anthems of
departamento y de
our
nuestra
department,
ciudad,
from our city,
a Ricardo
to
Bautista, su
Ricardo
director,
Bautista, his
a
director,
Freddy, a
Freddy,
Lupe, quienes
Lupe,
nos acompañaron también, al
who is
profesor Javier
was with us,
Ocampo, a Nelisol,
Nelisa,
bienvenidos,
Professor,
a todas y todos,
all
bienvenidos.
welcome.
La gestión sobre el manejo de los
The
residuos
management
sólidos es
about
un tema
waste,
tan cotidiano
it's a
como
normal
importante
task
en
and
el
very important
acontecer nacional
in the
y global,
national life and global.
puesto que nos involucra a todos como actores principales
Because we are
ante la
actors,
situación
main
del
actors
cambio climático
about this
que estamos
situation
viviendo.
that we are living right now.
¿Cómo no ser conscientes de
How not be
esta
conscious
realidad
about this
cuando
reality when
esta temporada de invierno,
this season,
sumado al deterioro cada vez más acelerado de la casa
the
común por
acceleration of the
falta
theory
de conciencia
of
humana,
lack of
a la
human
falta de un
conscious,
acuerdo local y global
to the lack
que
of
busque que las políticas
agreement
públicas
of
en torno al
local
cuidado de la
about
casa común,
public politics about
palabras del Papa Francisco,
human house,
sean
in
de
words of Papa
todos y
Francisco,
para todos,
be of everyone
en
and
donde todas las
everyone,
fuerzas vivas nos unamos
where are the
y actuemos
lives
de
force
inmediato.
be together and
El
act.
llamado no solo para hoy, sino para el futuro es imperativo
Important is not for us,
y
it's
nos
for the
involucra a
future,
todos
and we
en
are
la
involved
concreción del
to be
cumplimiento
all in the
de los
completion
objetivos de desarrollo
of the
sostenible
environmental
con acciones
objectives
tan
with
concretas,
concrete actions,
personales y
personal
comunitarias
and communities,
como son las siguientes:
as the following.
responder
Answer
al clamor de la tierra,
to the
responder
land,
al clamor de los
and
pobres,
answer to the poor
promover
people,
una
promote
economía ecológica,
ecological
en
economy,
palabras
in words
del documento del Papa
of
Francisco,
the
que
Papa
ustedes muy
Francisco
bien
document
conocen,
that you really know,
Laudato Si,
Laudato Si,
promover un estilo de vida
to promote
sustentable,
a sustainable lifestyle,
ofrecer educación
offering
ecológica,
education
Universidad
and
Santo
University
Tomás,
Santo
también
Tomás,
estamos en ello,
that we are also doing
también el
this,
plan de desarrollo
and also
rectoral a
our
ello apunta.
development plan that we are
Fomentar algo
focusing
muy
on it.
importante como la
To
espiritualidad
comment a
ecológica
lot, like ecological
en
spiritual,
nuestros niños,
in our
en
childs,
nuestros jóvenes,
in
en
our
nuestras
teenagers, in our
comunidades,
communities,
e impulsar la
and to
participación
promote
ciudadana
the
en
citizens'
la búsqueda
participation,
y en la
looking forward
consolidación del
and
bien
in the
común.
consolidation of
Que estos dos
good
días de
coming.
reflexión
That
académica
these 2 days of
sean
academic reflection
fecundos en el intercambio de saberes,
be important
a
in
favor de la
the
conciencia
exchange of
social y
knowledge
personal,
in the
y
social and
propendan
personal,
por una
and to
conversión del
propose
modelo económico,
in a good conversion,
un modelo circular de
in a
producción
circular model of
que
production
asegure recursos para
that
todos
ensure resources
y
for
para las
everyone
generaciones
and for the
futuras,
next generations,
y que suponga limitar al máximo
and that's
el
supposed to
uso de los
limit the
recursos
maximum
no
the use of
renovables,
resources not
moderar
renewable,
el consumo,
to moderate the
maximizar la
consumption,
eficiencia
and to
del
maximize the
aprovechamiento,
efficiency and the taking advantage,
reutilizar,
to reutilize,
reciclar.
to recycle.
Bienvenidos todos
Welcome
a esta
everyone
su casa,
to
la
this your
Santa
house,
Totumba. Muchas
Santa
gracias.
Totumba. Thank you so much.
Finalizamos la instalación
We
de
finished
este
this
evento
event
invitando
installment,
al estrado,
inviting
la persona que hace posible
our
que
person
nos
that make
encontremos
this
el día de
possible that
hoy,
we are be
transformando
here
el hoy en un
together,
mejor mañana.
becoming the
Doctor
today
Pablo
in a
Felipe
better today.
Arango, secretario
Dr.
general de
Pablo Felipe
Urbacer
Arango,
Colombia y
General
creador de estos
Secretary
espacios
Urbacer Colombia
académicos
and
a través de los
creator
programas
of
y
these
proyectos de
academic
gestión
spaces
social
through
de
the
Urbacer.
programs and projects of
Bienvenido, doctor
social
Pablo Felipe.
management. Urbacer, Dr. Pablo Felipe, a great person that give us the honor to speak with them, and of course to them, to him, that the first to us, we want to welcome him. Please give him a great welcome. Claro, I'm not the artificer of this, even neither the artificer is, as an event like this. We want to thankful firstly to the university that convoke us and of course receive us with a lot of love, academic and we're really thankful to Mr. Maestro Ricardo, of course, and people in logistics help us to do this event. And very thankful to you that here that want to be here to learn, to discuss, to speak, to use the terms of people that was about me in this inauguration, in this initial presentation. In Urbacer, we have a special anime that we want to do activities, social resources, not the normal way that we have done in the recent years here in the country, and it consists fundamentally in extensive activities to all communities that surround it. In our case, we have adopted to do environmental education. We really believe that in our communities today, we have a lack to discuss and to have conversations about environmental topics. And of course, to listen in firstly the experts. Oscar has told us very clear in the first intervention. We want to be here not to talk about how Urbacer works. And tomorrow we are going to see another scenario to continue this type of conversation. Here we assist in the same condition as you are, with listening, and we promote the learning. Urbacer is a company that wants to learn and to listen and learn this type of people, academic investigators, social that has interact about the concerns that take about the global warming. This type of meetings of dialogue, conversation, Mr. Procurator, with the authorities, with people that has to vigilance us. We are really become that this type of people is elected. We haven't in this country. So when we began about our social management, I told management and all the people of area in the region, the first thing that we have to is to identify what are this type of actors and leaders, environmental leaders that exist in the region, because we have to recognize them, to be with them in this type of conversation that just beginning. Because we are very believe in this type of country that they are not just to pick up garbage and to clean the streets. They are also be here with the most difficult issue, that is the waste that we are doing everyone, and to become this type of waste to material that can help us in the supply chain or in energy. Unfortunately, Fray Jose Fernando, oh, and for that, I I felt some loss, because I wanted to appreciate, to thankful him, because he convoked to environmental spirituality. We done some months ago an activity in Impress book to each of our collaborators, and it was a great receipt, because a lot of people believe that this type of operators didn't want to read this type of book, but it was a great idea, because everyone could learn about this type of concepts. This type because when we connect with through education, through culture and spirituality, we are able to confront any border, any wall that separates us. So thank you so much. So thank you so much, Oscar, for this invitation, for you and your team. Thanks to people that are gonna be with us with the like and knowledge. Thanks to you to be here with us, and that be 2 days of a lot of conversation, a lot of dialogue. Through conversation, we can build knowledge, but we can build peace. Thank you so much. Okay, as Pablo Felipe said, we are going to learn. Clara, we are going to start with our speakers. Not to remember that we are connected via streaming. That Clara is going to mention it, because we want to multiply this type of audience, and a lot of people have the possibility to listen this type of personality, and that today they honor to their presence to be here. So we are gonna
Claro que sí,
of course, we are connected through YouTube Urbacer Colombia channel, through Urbacer Tunja, and through social media as Facebook, that you can find in different cities that we have worked, FACA, Tatavia, Eje Cafetero. You can find there, and you can follow it. We have a link with English transmission. So we are going to start to our first speaker, Pietro Lupi, and his conference about recycled population. And for that, I want to invite Diana Moreno, commercial director, and I want to invite Petro too. Welcome, Diana. Thank you. Good morning. I want to introduce Petro Lupi. He has worked from 2022 as studies of popular economy, recycle, and implementation of innovative models. From 2011-2015 was technician director from the European project PRISCA that implemented the first preparation plans for the reutilization. His founder from the association, Occhio del Ciclone, was director scientific from Retioni, delegate of the category of camera industries in Brussels, director scientific from the institution Latin Technique of the Commission Bicameral de Camouflage, constituted by Parliament and Senate Republican Italian Senator, author of books and articles scientific about the repetitions, topic, and recycling. He collaborated with a lot of recyclage actors in Europe and America Latina. He did investigations of merchandising, and he has worked in Europe, America Latina, Asia, and Africa. Welcome, Mr. Lippi.
Bienvenido.
Gracias.
Thank you. Thank you for participation. Thank you to Urbacer, to the other collaborators, to giving me this opportunity to come back to Colombia. I will try to share with you about the recycled population. In Colombia, I think that we have a reasonable number where they were, I will say, the first to establish by law the concept and develop of recycle selective to be vinculated to the involvement of the recycled population. Today I will divide my conference into parts. First one, inclusive systems, limits and opportunities, and in the second I will speak about the responsible of the product about inclusive systems.
Mis razonamientos son el
My
resultado
reasons are the result of 20 years working and looking for this type of and in different type of countries and more than one continent. So I'm going to offer you this global point of view that I had the opportunity to develop it and that now I'm trying to apply in systems of responsible extensions I did in Mexico. I'm now doing in the Italian textile sector. The phenomenon that we know, we give some numbers just to teach about the importance. 20 million of recyclers in the world, 4 millions in Colombia. It's a big phenomenon, very important. In countries, emerging countries, we have an ambitious objective that substantially are similar that countries with more income as United States or UK. But it's a reality is the difference. When we apply this type of models in countries of medium and low income, they don't have the same result as the countries with higher incomes. And the big problem is the limitation. If you try and to imitate the same type of solutions, thinking that Europa have a bigger advantage. It's very clear.
O sea, no, sí, ya vi, creo que se tenga que reiniciar la computadora, pero yo voy adelante.
I'm going to continue.
Teniendo este concepto en la cabeza,
having this concept in the head, when you really imitate the models that success in Europe,
no puede haber éxito
we don't have success in them surrounded that are very different. So in the slide we have a phrase of Axenberger, an academic, a friend, that said the majority of rise income of slow, they fail, and they fail when they imitate are 20 years that in Africa and America Latina, like India, Philippines, it was a jump, pragmatic jump. Okay, don't imitate. Let's see what is the real reality in our countries, who is doing, and let's try to involve in the system the recycled population, recyclators population. If it's spontaneous, but we must try to incorporate this type of population. It's what we call it modernized mixture. It means let's go to modernity, but according us, it's a mix between different type of models in the countries locally. Additionally, it's a point that I like to highlight. Oh, thanks. Is that logistics of sociocultural population, in a lot of cases, if are incorporated in the waste management system, it has a big compatibility with the systems, with the schemes and the models of door-to-door reproduction models that in Europe are considered as the most advantage. In Europe, by law, we have an objective that in 2025 it must higher than 55% of our recovery of the total of waste reproduction. This we can do just with select recollection door to door. So another type of logistics where we have type of routes and routes that makes reference to logistics in different type of reference are very compatible with type of. So this is a good point. But if we want to develop this really, we must to see the confront the problems. We need the truth. We need to see the potential phenomena. We have. I can go through the slides. The first problem, issue, that I believe it's happening in a lot of countries, not just one. I have observed it in more than one situation, is about the risk of substitution of actors in the supply chain, in the supply value. Here in Colombia, they are very related with this type of topic. The recyclators say, I will win more. They say, I will gain more. I will have a better life. I could aggregate more value if I have an storage, if I could manage also selection operations, having the good, etc. But what happens when you to a recyclators give it this type of assets, this type of machinery, this type of tools, they start to do it, the type of chatarreros. When you start to do the chatarrero job, what is the best way to have more waste? S, to incorporate a recollection process or to buy to informal recyclers that are in a not the best way. Of course, it's so much better in a commercial viewpoint to buy to people that it's vulnerable. So the big risk in our country is the recyclers group that receive this type of benefits. They haven't implemented, they just substitute the chatarreras they were before. And the streets, they become the new chatarreras and they are buying vulnerable. So this is a problem that we have to be conscious that we don't modify the system. We not need to remove this type or group chatarreras, giving a space to
un
another
elevador social
charterist
y
type, like an
además
elevator, social elevator,
un potencial monopolio.
to a
Porque
risk of
cuando
monopoly.
estos esquemas se dan en un esquema de
Because when
concertación,
this type
se
is
tiende a
concentrated, we
quitar a
tend
los
to
chatarreros que
eliminate
existían y decir, no, este
chartereros,
territorio es tuyo.
to say
Tú
this territory is
representas
mine
los
because you
recicladores de este
represent the
territorio.
recyclers of this territory. So you
Chatarreros
remove the other
las ventajas
chatarreros,
competitivas,
the
financiamiento,
competitive advantage,
legitimidad a un
legitimacy
nuevo grupo de chatarreros que
to a new
toma el
group
monopolio.
that take the
Dal punto di vista
monopoly.
dell'operatore vulnerabile che si trova
From
nella
the
calle,
point of view
es
of the
que hoy,
operator that is on the
porque
streets,
antes
it's
podían poner
worse
competencia a varios
because before they can put in competence the different type of chatarreros,
este flujo, cuando se queda uno solo,
but when
el riesgo
just
por
one
supuesto
group
es
of
mayor.
chatarreros stay,
Posición
we
de
have a
operador
big risk
más
because they will have a
de las que tienen los
better position
tradicionales.
from
Esto
the
hay
traditional
que
chatarreros.
cuidarlo
So we have to care about it
como riesgo.
like a risk.
Y a lo mejor si fue manualmente.
If we can manually,
El otro riesgo grande
the
que
second
yo
big
veo
risk that I see
en este deseable
in
del
this
desarrollo, digamos, de la población
desirable
recicladora, que es el
development,
deseable
desirable
incorporación
development,
en los esquemas
corporation
de
in the
residuos, es la
waste
politización
management is the
exagerada.
politicization,
El principal
the
motivo de
main
mortalidad
motive of
de los
mortality
buenos proyectos,
of the good
en
projects.
mi experiencia es
In
política.
my experience, it's by politician.
Mortalidad y desinformación.
Mortality and deformation.
Los proyectos buenos
The good
mueren,
projects
se
die
deforman,
or
sobre todo por
take another way, mainly by
a veces hay
political
problemas técnicos,
issues. We have sometimes technical issues,
hay problemas técnicos, pero no son los principales.
but are not the
Son
most
sobre todo,
important.
Políticos.
Mainly are the
La
politics
forma
issues.
mejor para no
The
cambiar nada,
best way
declarando
to
que
don't
estás haciendo
change
todo,
everything
es
to
entrar
the
en
way,
esquemas de concertación
it's to get to
donde le vas a dar a un grupo de
concerns
líderes,
framework that you will
como
give
decir,
to
el
leaders,
derecho de decidir
as you
todo
said,
en cuanto a población recicladora.
the option to decide
Ok, este es
everything
el tema.
as
Tú estás en la
recycler
mesa
population.
conmigo,
This is the
tú eres
topic.
capaz,
I'm the major, I'm the
ok, ¿estás
clean,
contento?
and you are
El
happy,
líder te dice, sí, estoy contento. Ok,
and I
entonces
told
hemos
you,
resuelto
yes,
el
you are
problema de
happy.
población
So we
recicladora,
have resolved the
hemos
problem.
resuelto el problema de recolección de
We
residuos.
have resolved the
Pero podrías
waste collection.
recolectar de otra
So,
forma, necesitamos
could you
de
collect in another way?
dando como una división de poderes.
So giving
Y
like
a
a
veces, pero no es culpa de los líderes,
powerful division.
los problemas se bloquean. Son otros problemas políticos.
Are
O sea,
another
la verdad,
politician's
la
problems.
mayoría
So
de los
truly,
buenos proyectos en los cuales participé y que
the
han
majority
fallado,
of good projects that
siempre
where
fue
I
por
participate
alguna
and that couldn't
que se
be
dio en las esferas
done,
más
will say that
políticas.
it was by
Casi
political
nunca
issues.
la responsabilidad fue de los de abajo. Esto seguramente. Entonces, estas eran las slides en las cuales yo quería hablar. Le voy dando unos
Where the
ejemplos
slides.
concretos
I would like to share with you some
Dar es Salaam,
examples. Dar es Salaam, Tanzania,
vanguardia del microfranchising.
vanguard of
Ya en
microfranchising. In
1998
1998,
había empezado una reforma del sistema
it started
basada en
a reform of the system about the involucration of the informal organizations that were present there and that their main activity was the recollection of waste. They're reincorporated in a formal way. They gave them objective goals, the correct way.
Con este sistema
With this
lograron
system,
un cubrimiento del
they
servicio.
make
Dar es Salaam es una
a
ciudad muy
coverage
grande,
of.
es grande como Bogotá.
This is a big city, it's almost as a Colombia, almost as the 90%. It was a great development because on that time it wasn't a lot of this type of services. What happened? How are 73 territorials
Muchas de estas autoridades,
authorities, a
por
lot of
lógica
these
política,
authorities
empezaron a
with logical,
digamos,
political
hacer
logic,
conflicto
they
sobre el
started to
sistema,
create
sobre los criterios
conflicts
de
about the
elección
systems, about the
y
criteria
los de las
of
personas
elections, about
involucradas, sobre el manejo.
this type of
Después de
enterprise
algunos años de
involucrated.
esta presión
And after
política,
some years of
el
this
Consejo
pressure,
Municipal Central
the
le dijo a las
municipal
autoridades
council
federales,
told to
"Ok,
the
ustedes
authorities,
escojan
okay, you choose
cómo manejar el sistema a nivel local".
how to manage this type of,
Pero paralelamente también
but have
puso
in
un bridge,
account I say we have to cover a fee to try to avoid that they abuse of risk, because part of the system was to change because they could receive money from the citizen when the conseil, the major, would reach the total fee, all the system collapsed because it wasn't good calculated. The limit was inferior to the operational costs. When I was in 2014, all the system was collapsed, so I could rebuild this story speaking with people and about the literature and the investigation that were there. Another example, totally different, Italy. All the informal recyclers just focus on type of goods for the second hand, but they resist for the informal metallics, more valuable metals. A big part of these recyclers are Gitans syndrome, and they have problems of informal. We have a big corporation in Italy, like anti-mafia, that manage the environmental delics, because we have the mafia and the environmental topics, but a vulnerable informal. This was a driver that combines thousands of Gitan families to regularize it. They could do it through the consortium about the social cooperatives with logistics. Helps to regulate the recyclers and give a constant sensory. Through the consortia, they are the owners of the vehicles, but the ex-informal recyclers are who give the service. What happens in this case? It was fundamental the role of the second value supply chain, that here in Colombia we call as chatarreros, take the control of the consortium, because the base of recyclers of streets, they didn't have the initiative and the leadership to manage the system. So we did this power exchange. So let's see what happened. This is a very interesting studio, and probably is the unique program in Europe that is an incorporation program to the informal recyclators into a formal way. They left the informal and they started the informal. Another example, it's Londrina. I was there 2 times, and we did a cooperation agreement with the Copercio. When I was the first time, it was 2010, the system was in the best moment because of the serious programs of companies programs with focus in social topics, the catadores of issues. They did a good framework. So they had storage, they have selection plants, and they had street workers incorporated with good design processes, with good salaries, incentive proportionations to the how pure was the recollection. So it's sold by the best way, the material, and the recycle receive an incentive to combine the final to combine him with uniform, with publicity. 2010, it was wonderful. After it, we receive a lot of money, and what happened there, when I came back in 2013, all the results were down of the recycled percentage. What I understood was that having the financing money instead of develop organizative involvement, they accommodate and just select the richest sections. Also, on this moment, the CM2, that is the local company, started to separate the organic like this. More than 60% of the waste was organic. They proposed to the cooperative to do it. As the cooperative didn't have a good attitude to the development, they asked for a lot of money to recollect this separately way, but this was the disruption of the monopoly that is not, right now it's not the reference cooperative. Another model that I would like to share with you, that for me it was like a surprise. I call it Model Azteca, is how it works the management waste in Ciudad de Mexico. In Mexico City, the waste management is an integration between formal operations and informal operations, from incomes and costs that are formal and informal costs and incomes. It was consolidated by years, and we engage. That is impressive and guarantees that Ciudad Mexico be clean. It's a city that its population is almost half of Colombia. It's an important phenomenon. What happened there? That drivers of the different routes work with recyclers and swipers. They do recollection and they receive directly from the users informal ways without tips, but proportional about the quantity of waste they recollect. So we call in Europe this pay in proportion according what you recollect. In Mexico City, we are implementing this, but in formal way. If you don't want, as a user, pay the tip to the swiper, you go directly to the vehicle. They do a typical call, they say basura. They go to the corner and they can give to the vehicle, but it's more uncomfortable that the service that the swipers give door by door. The territories delegations know how it works perfectly, and they say to the swipers, you have to have these routes to the vehicle too, and they pay. They don't pay enough. The salaries represent the 25% of these productive units. The 36 are this. The 6 are tips. The 36 are the salt of recyclable material. And the other are the tips received by the swipers. When the Japanese consultants arrived, they realized how it works, and they told to the government from City Mexican, and they told, don't touch everything. This is a miracle. This is a miracle that workers from syndicate done with the collaborators of National Waste. I did a lot of meetings, and we have to validate this type of this system. We have a lot of issues in this system, but I said that we don't have to put like examples, but this type of issues happens with the lack of recognition. So the proposal, what I did, is to take a photography of the process, starting by the reality, and according to it, we will work about it. We are going to design not methods, schemes, frameworks, abstract schemes, and after that to adapt to reality to something that is really different. We have to do it in inverse way.
Digamos, por cualquier, digamos, persona que esté acostumbrado
For each person
a razonar en términos de
that
administración.
resonate in this type of business administration.
Ahora le voy a hablar un
Now
poquito de
I'm
la
going to
responsabilidad
talk about the responsibility, extension responsibility of producer.
Sé que en Colombia
I know in Colombia we have a principle about extension responsible and laws, like a lot in countries. In Europe, we have almost 25 years that we have implemented this type in base. Now we are amplified to fractions. This is an element where this arrive, all the structures change.
Para los, digamos, los menos expertos, los que no trabajan en el sector,
to people that are not experts in this, I will say that this is in two words. It's about to vinculate people to distribute and produce goods and new goods, the industries, the importers, new goods, to vinculate, to organize financing the supply chain values of the recovery of their products. So are different frameworks, but the main is if you have 10 kilograms of shoes producers and we consider this of 10, 5 will be waste, you have to guarantee that you will recover 5 kilograms of shoes, and are 20 years that it works in Europe for all the. When you see all the European, it was possible just because the associations of producers with their financial contributions contributed and participated with the systems, for example.
No tiene que preocuparse de cuál mercado vaya a tener su plástico reciclable.
The town hall don't care about that because all the systems get
y agarran todo pagando la alcaldía lo que necesita
what
para
they need.
desarrollar la recolección separada. Eso en los esquemas integrados, luego hay los esquemas duales.
This is one of the greatest frameworks, and we have another type of schemes. For example, in Germany, we do parallel models. In this type of systems,
hay un tema de informalidad.
are informal
Hay un fuerte tema
topic, a strange informal topic.
Por ejemplo, en el sistema
For
de los
example,
electrodomésticos,
in the framework electrodomestic,
los productores que organizan la
the
cadena de valor dicen cómo puedo
suppliers
yo implementar plantas sostenibles
can
de recuperación que respeten la
to
ley,
get
que
this,
den los mayores resultados ambientales,
to give the
si tengo
better
población
environmental
informal,
results if they have
que
informal
se ponen en
population,
centros de transferencia municipales,
they be in the
los que son abiertos al acceso de los usuarios,
centers that are open for the
se
users,
roban, entre comillas, todas
and
las
they
piezas mejores, las que
will
se
say,
podrían mandar al
achieve
mercado
the
reciclable.
best
Y no hacen solo esto.
products.
Ya saben los
They know
informales
all the
reconocer
informers
las
to
fracciones
recognize the
reciclables
fractions more valuable
Entonces, le
and
rompen
precious, so they
los puntos de
break
equilibrio y de
the equilibrium
sostenibilidad
points and sustainability to the formal plants. Why? Because they're anticipated in the
Y
supply
lo
chain.
mismo pasa con las fracciones de
And the
desechos,
same
son ahora
happen in the utilization
extendido de productos
plants.
del textil, y hay mucho, no solo informal, sino sobre todo
And
organización
not
caritativa
just
que hace el mismo trabajo de
that
canibalización
they
y a
do
veces
the
está precisamente
same,
posicionadas
and they are
en los
positioned
primeros
in
puntos
the
de cadena de valor.
first points in
Y
the
luego, sobre
value
todo,
chain. And I would like to highlight in the debate the inconformity be at the end of the value chain. It means in some sectors that in the textile sector in reutilization, who after do the operation or distribute to the second customer are informal operators. This phenomenon starts to be recognized in some polls. So that one went clouds to demonstrate that a lot of results that happen in Europe, like circular economies, are a result of exports to very important operators from Africa who Indians recyclers, informal recyclers. But what we are doing is to put material that is not recycler to put in the stock of production recycler under utilization, because the final disposition cost a loss in Europe because we have so too high standards there. And after that, we have a final illegal disposition that is not according to our standards. When they see all the circle ways in Europe, taking in account that this phenomenon happened there. I'm going to give you an example. In France, the extension responsibility about electrics Ecosystem is the consortium. They did a joint venture with MB. This is a company, social enterprise. Social enterprise receive more than 5 each device sold, and after that, between 80 euros and 120 euros for each tunnel, and this led to distribute this type of devices in the second-hand market to a lower price than in second normal formal. So they are taking advantage of market, but these prices are so low about these contributors that arrive until from Romania, Balkans, and arrive to France to get these electrodomestics and are transporting an informal way and are sold in their markets. It's a market with people with a low budget, and when a poor person, the price of second get a pickup. In the Balkans. I saw an analysis in here in Germany, sofa that were sold in 29 euros. In the Balkans, this type of product will have more than 200 euros. So the people buy in France and sold in this type of other countries. So the first ring, you look so clean with all the legal standard certifications, but the reality is that it works according an informality that it's in the last ring in the value chain. I was there a lot of times to investigate how it works. Of course, it are not according to the environmental standards, so it must to be an economy management details to sell by products that are right there. So you can see this type of landfills opening. So this is an analysis that it was by Translane, a project where participated actors from like police just in the borders between Austria and Hungary. We see more than 75,000 millions
sistemas que aparentemente
tons
son perfectos.
of waste
Goals in
that
the
happened
circular
there.
economy, Basel Action con Greenpeace puso 314 GPS en la recolección de RAE en algunos países
BNR,
europeos.
they put
Resultó
314
que
GPS
el
to
6% era
recollection,
exportado fuera de Europa,
and
el
they found that
60% de forma
6%
ilegal.
was
Estamos hablando
exported
de 200.000 toneladas
abroad to
anuales,
Europe,
solo
and
en
61
referencia a
of
estos
this quote
países.
was
Pero otro
illegally.
porcentaje que fue difícil definir iba
But
en
another
canales informales
percentage
locales
that was difficult to define
europeos.
was in
Otra
another
experiencia
channels.
que
Another
quisiera contar
experience
es
I
del
want to tell you,
2017 en
it was
Paniplace,
2017
siguiendo el
in
rastro
Panitani to
de los
following the
residuos textiles
some
urbanos
clues about the
italianos,
urban textiles, Italian urban
y
textiles, and I
vi la forma en que vienen
realized
seleccionados
how
y luego
their selection was
preparados para el
selected
reciclaje.
and was
Si
prepared
ven la foto
to
de la izquierda,
recycle. If you see
en medio de las
the
prendas
left
coloradas,
pictures
también hay
in the
mujeres y
middle
niños.
of clothes are women and child.
Chistoso es que
The funny
ahí
of
llega
this
como un
is
waste, o sea, ya se extinguió la condición de residuos porque supuestamente ya se
that
hicieron las selecciones
it arrived like
prescritas por la ley ambiental.
the clothes
Realmente,
after
en cambio,
being
llega mucho material
recollection.
seleccionado, se selecciona de esta forma y el desperdicio
They select
es
the material
tremendo.
in this way, and
En Panipal,
what is not
utilizar el distrito
recollected,
del
it's
Niño, no se puede
fired,
respirar. Ahí van con la
and it
mascarilla
creates pollution
por boca, no por la pandemia, sino porque no se puede respirar.
because of the
Yo
pandemic.
soy
You can breathe right there.
testigo,
I'm
o sea,
a
lo vi,
testimony
vi esto con mis ojos.
because I live
20
this with my eyes.
20 muertos anuales para incendios, trabajo infantil,
20
quema
deaths
sistemática de
by
los
fires,
desechos. El
child
otro
war,
encuesta que Giorgi ha
another pool
mencionado,
that I said.
The White Man Clothes, o sea, se concentraron en Ghana, se dieron cuenta que el
They
40%
concentrated in
de
Ghana,
lo que
and I
llegaba
realized that
luego
almost
estaba tirado al
40%
mar o en
was
basureros
on the
ciudades que
sea
no se
or
era
landfills,
ni recuperado
open
de
landfills
verdad.
that really
Esto lo
were
vi también con
recovered.
mis ojos, no lo
And
vi
I
en Ghana, lo vi
also
en
saw
Mozambique, en Malawi y
in Mozambique and Malawi and
un
Tanzania
fenómeno que
a
cuando yo hice
phenomenon.
mis primeras análisis de
When
mercado
I
era
did my
moderado,
first
pero
analysis
con el
was
advance del
moderated,
fast
but
fashion, Shine, H&M, saben, esta ropa que haces una o dos lavadores y luego se desperdicia, el sistema empezó a colapsar.
when the
En
system
Europa,
started
los
to
puntos de equilibrio de
collapse,
bastante selección
the
empezaron a
equilibrium
mandar
point
mucha más
started
basura.
to create more garbage in
Responsabilidad
Africa.
extendida del productor en América Latina.
Extension
A nivel de
responsibility in
ley,
Latin America
muchos
in a
países
low level in a lot of countries, in the biggest countries.
hubo alguna
It
innovación
has
legislativa al
innovation
respecto, ya se acepta
on
como
the
residuo, ya
relative
está
lab.
incluido el residuo. Yo pude observar
Me
pero el
could
fenómeno
observe
en Belice.
in Belize.
The Economist me mandó
The
a
Economist
Belice City en
sent me
2016 para hacer un análisis
2016
de
information
las
to do
economías
analysis about the
informales
informal economies,
y ahí me di cuenta
and
que el
there
sector
I
informal
realized
se
that
había
informal sector
transformado
has become
por una reforma de
because
responsabilidad extendida del
of the
productor,
Renewal
Returnable Containers Act, en donde los productores
Act,
están obligados a
where the producers
comprar
to the producers is mandatory to buy all the ways that people bring to them. But what is the concrete result? Is that normal people, strange way they go to the storage, really are the informal recyclators that go there, are the formal workers, the swipers, maybe to incorporate the informal recollection and to incorporate in the roads ways in the producers way, competitive to the informal recyclators that go at morning trying to anticipate the swipers. This trying to say when you do or do a change by law, impact directly in a context and environment that you don't control, the final results are not what you are expecting. I don't think that in Belize it is a bad situation, but normally it is not a formal situation. As conclusions, what can I offer to you as a result of my investigation and analysis? It's that I really believe that the participation in micro in a big shame values it's out of standard, but we don't have to disappreciate because it can contribute to wonderful things. It can be part of the lowest standards and bring outcomes that will apply real value for the big, I speak big companies of clean more than they can apply a supervision to the value chain, putting guarantees to the more weakless brings. I don't have to say to a recycled leadership, not to say, what do you need to be happy? We don't have to do this. We need to design the complete process. The best role of this type of leaders is not in the operations or in the commercial. They're the best in the discussions and in the normative how we can share. And I advised don't to create monopolies, go out about this type of circle of consultation. I don't say as a critic here in Colombia because really I know about the risks that I have seen and I have studied in different countries where I have been. So I don't think that we have good and bad leaders, but if we don't, we want to. So we have to avoid drivers that my last slide. This is my synthesis about a procedure of quality cycle which I developed with my work team. This is a framework between micro, between Italia, and informals in Africa about distributions, about textiles solutions. Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Pietro, thank you so much. Surely we have a lot of people that would like to have some questions. I want to share with you that we have companies right here as recycle stations from Tunja and other cities. So where is Juan?
De atrás del auditorio, vamos a dar apertura a 2 o 3 preguntas que tengan para el maestro Pietro.
We will do 2 or 3 questions to Mr. Petra, so please.
Vamos a facilitar el micrófono para resolverlas. Entonces, Juan, acá tenemos a la primera pregunta.
So the first question is,
también a darle solución a ellas.
The first question is, good morning, Mr. It's a privilege to have you here. Thank you so much for coming. I have developed the recycling activity for a lot of years. Currently, additional recycle, it's a waste recycle, but we have recycle and organic waste. We have done the separate way this type of working. So for me it's very important because we don't have the conscience, as you say, as safe, right? To create the spiritual conscience that we have because we don't have the conscience. So what this process has done, I think that we have to organize looking for a better welfare to the land because we have to care about it. We have to care about the land. Thank you so much. Thank you. About this intervention, I would like to add that is real that normal population, the normal people, are more sensitive about the ecologic topic and about an spiritual level. It's deeper. I mean, it's deeper. So this is happening around the world. We have the people that don't care about it, but currently we have a lot of population that really care, that are conscious and that would like to care about the environment. After that, they find different systems that are not adequate to it, but maybe if I separate, but after that, we don't have channels, homogeneous channels that take advantage of this waste, or even if it's happening in Europe, I want to do something good. For example, they include that calls as solidarity, but after that, they fire in India or they just throw in Africa in the sea, as I saw in Italy. It is a big phenomenon, a legal phenomenon. So, what is a good solution which I have confirmed for the last years? It was of my main topics: how to take advantage about this ecological, spiritual of majority of people to improve the systems and to get better environmental results. So the proposal that I did was in Italy that is showing results right now. It's that value chains of advantage waste must to be transparent. We don't have to create a competence between services. We have to compete between value chains. Would you like to participate in licitation? Okay, just don't tell me in which plant are you giving. So you are going to declare what are your final customers and how it works. The value chain that be more convinced will win according the requirements of licitations, and this information wants to give to population because people to do the licitations after that could say to population, yes, this is the best value chain. This is a fundamental point of view.
¿Alguna pregunta adicional en el auditorio? Bueno, vamos pasando ya el micrófono. Tengo una a través de canales virtuales.
I have another question, Mr. Pietro. What's the difference between model of people here in Latin America versus Italian models? The difference. What is the recollect structural model? What is a versus between Latin America or Italian? The biggest difference of the models is that in Italy, like in France or in other countries, is that almost in 60 years in Milan, in Paris, we used to have person to separate almost 36 type of waste in landfills. It used to be recollection door by door, informal phenomena. That they integrate about their loads, budgets, selling different products of paper, metals, and when the system started to be more organized and the value chain started to be more organized, all started to be more formal. In Europe, the economic boom, the system were capable to manage these informal economies without to create more social marginals. They could management in a good way that they couldn't manage if it happened right now. Latin America come from this type of American Latin and they don't have the enough resources and the same quantity like this official standards in the capacity that Europe had in 60s years, but it has the opportunity to go directly to the most sustainable model. Remember that in Europe, after 70s, 80s, it started to work with containers industries. Even in 19th, we tried container in the streets until realized that it wasn't to reach 10%. But now that the objectives are more than 65%, the only way to get this type or this quantity of recollection, it's door by door. How it works, we have logistics that are very similar about the logistic that informal recyclers have in Latin American. You will do the jump because you don't have to imitate Europe, neither to imitate all the Europe steps that Europe did, and after that they had to came back. Why? Because containers are very important sometimes to resolve contingencies in the streets, in accumulations of garbage. It's more difficult of what I'm saying, but it's necessary to see the macro phenomena surrounding. Over over past indicators, macroeconomics, and the other time that say that I'm more or less as in Europe in 80s or 90s. I also have this type of resources. I will do again. Before everything, you have a vigilance intern as Europe, because when it does have control, it will transfer in landfills, and it will reach you as a selling of 10% of resources which has been recovered. So the objectives are ambitious, but doing in your own way because it's very valuable what you are doing right now here.
Perfecto, maestro, tenemos una pregunta
Mister,
adicional
we have an
en la
additional
mitad del auditorio. Recordarles a las personas que nos están
question.
acompañando que seguramente no podremos responder todas las inquietudes que ustedes tengan el día de hoy. Sin embargo, les solicitamos, y a Juan, que es la persona que nos está ayudando a reunir las preguntas, es que se las entreguen a él, y en nuestro micrositio web de la cumbre podrán encontrar luego resueltas estas inquietudes que tengamos el día de hoy. Bienvenida, tu nombre, por favor, y la pregunta para el maestro. Mucho gusto, buenos días.
Nice to meet you. Good morning, Dr. Pietro. Nice to have you. I'm Jamile, representing the Environmental Secretary in Cundinamarca. I want to ask you, when you speak about recycle, one of the biggest value that we have in recycle are the recyclators. From your viewpoint, what has happening with the dignification and the quality life of recyclers? What have been the Thank you. The situations are very different, not just depending of the country, even in the city. So we have a lot of answers to this answer. I have seen with the best conditions, concrete and improvements to recyclers when it was a social change seriously. I took the recycler to looking for what are the ways to organize this type of recyclers in the same territory. I studied different ways of leaderships. I go into the process of law, and I start to the best way It's when it's an intervention, when you can see this type of processes, you can improve this, but when exists, it's when it doesn't exist interest, you can see a really it happened to me in a big city when I presume great improvements because we had created a lot of associations. But after that, when I did investigations on the streets, the recyclators say that it hasn't happened. So it just changed on a specific group. So it wasn't an improvement. A really improvement happens when the process is designed and in the governance, and we are partners of recyclers. For that, I saw in Brazil a lot of organizations that give this type of services with a social idea. I think that this is an necessary and mandatory element. Another improvement condition is when the routes are flexible. Who do the service needs to count the streetways, and each person has his route, and this creates some conflicts on the streets, could be violent. So the social vulnerability, we add violence problems. In this way, it's very interesting the model that people from Mexico City has developed because the routes are flexible. The swiper is the person who protects it, the citizens are who protect him, the regulation protect him. So they say this is your route. The way says yours, but you are with uniform, you have on a schedule, you go with your swipe. If exists a person that must to be absorbed, it is frequently, it's almost the law. It's very important involved in this informal productivity and part of the drivers in an organized context. They go into organization that it has been slow. I would like to see these improvements formalized and organized.
Perfecto, tenemos una
Thank you.
pregunta última y
We have
final
the
y
last
para que por
question
favor
to
la
Mr.
transmitamos
Pietro.
al maestro. Les recuerdo las preguntas que ustedes tengan adicionales para el maestro Pietro, las pueden hacer en las hojas que les hemos entregado. Mi compañero Juan las estará recepcionando para entregárselas o darles respuesta posteriormente en nuestro micrositio web elaborado especialmente para esta cátedra ambiental. Bienvenida, tu nombre, por favor, y la pregunta para el maestro.
Mr. Pietro, Estefania Grajales, Controller of the Environment in Soacha, Cundinamarca. I would like to ask you, taking in account the different people, empiric people, technicians, and I believe that through your knowledge, global knowledge, how would you implement in our countries public politicians that really guarantee, first, circular economy, second, connective concessions, clean waste implementing, to have guarantees to formal and informal recyclers, cost equity cost, but on the same way have real laws in the ways of organic laws in our territories, remembering, Mr. Petro, that here in Colombia, all the politics that start to all the politics start to be ambientalists, animalists, but what we really need are quarantines that create and to generate quarantines to care our planet. Thank you so much for that question. It's for the precision. The answer could be so extensive. I think that we could have an answer for each location. I'm very sure about the tendency about politicians and about the enterprises. It's to use the circular flag, just like a flag. So there is important to report outcomes and to educate about this inflation, about environmental argumentation to recognize what is real and what is not real. How how a country with a medium or low income country to reach good outcomes, environmental outcomes, the outcomes that we need, or if we accomplish some objective or the impacts will be severe. I think that a small and medium incomes has the opportunity, the historical opportunity to design models that be sustainable independently of the situation as happened with Europe and that will be for a while too. A lot of public resources. I think that this is an inflated situation, but we can speak on other topics. What I'm looking right now in Europe, it's about politics. We had an Italian dictator, Mussolini, because there was the war prepared. It means to work by ourselves. I'm just going to use the resources that are produced by my own country because it's my land. My personal opinion is very subjective. It's that right now in Europe, the circular economy are concepts that have a very similar meaning. The industry, what really needs, it's to reduce the price of the secondary resources and trying to do in circling for that they are bad to the recycle and are radical politics. It's not ecologist. The ecologist is what this type of laws have the support of population. And I wouldn't like to be politic. They have their reasons to be extreme in this part of tradition. What are the main reasons that Colombia? What are the real reasons that Tanzania has? A vision, surrounded, or a real vision that's smart to break paradigms. It's a country where they decided to don't speak European language, to speak their own language. What is their Colombian language? I can't give you the answer. I just invited to discover it. Before Mr. Petro, let us, please, Mr. Please, could you come? And why do we do this? Because I really appreciate as this conference for you. Please be grateful with this authority because we want to recognize from Boyacá what you have done for the environment around the world. Please A big clap for you.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Gracias por estar acá
Thank
y
you for
gracias a
being here,
todos
and thank
ustedes
you
por su receptividad
for
a este
your
reconocimiento. Vamos
thank
a
you about
continuar
this
entonces,
recognition to him.
Clarita, con
We are
la
gonna continue,
actividad.
Clara, with the
Tenemos
activity that we
luego
have.
del momento que vamos a
After
vivir,
the
vamos a
moment that we
tener
are gonna
luego
leave,
la parte
we
del
will have
refrigerio,
a
que
break
Clarita les va a explicar
that
nuestra
Clara is gonna explain
metodología
you how
para
it's the
regresar
methodology to
nuevamente al
come back
auditorio y podernos conectar
to
a
the
través de la
conference and to
ahora sí, la
connect
intervención virtual,
to
pero
the
lo más
next
importante es que el
virtual
aforo siempre durante los
conference.
talleres
The
se
most
mantenga.
important is
A
that
eso
people be
vinimos,
here.
vinimos a
For
aprender,
that, we are
vinimos a
here because we
escuchar,
want to learn,
vinimos
we
a
are
interactuar, a
listening,
compartir
and we want
experiencias.
to interact
Saludamos
and
a la
share
gente de
experience.
Jumbo,
We
a la
really
gente de
greet the
Urbacero
people from
Occidente, a la gente
Jumbo,
de Urbacero
Urbacero
Centro,
Occidente,
también
Urbacero
nuestra querida
Centro.
Procuraduría General de la
Also,
Nación,
the
la
Procurator
Superintendencia de
is right here,
Servicios
the
Públicos, las empresas de
Supervigilante,
asociación de reciclaje, la
Empresa de
Secretaría de
Reciclaje,
Desarrollo de la Ciudad de Tunja, de la
the
Alcaldía Mayor de
Development
Tunja,
Secretary
la
from
Gobernación de
Tunja,
Cundinamarca, como ya
and
nos
the
hemos dado cuenta, la
Cundinamarca
delegación de
governance,
Soacha, y en fin, a todos
Swacha,
ustedes,
and
gracias por
all
estar
to
con
you.
nosotros,
Thank you to
la
be
Academia
here.
Boyacense de Historia
This
y todos
History
los
Academy.
aliados de esta noble causa.
Thank you so much, everyone. We have Shari Castellanos. She's designer and winner of the project Estímulos and Fomentan Cultura Program Departamental 2022 Convocatory. She came as a short room and a workshop denominated as Restart, a bet to the sustainability tendencies. If we think almost becoming against, for example, the pens, the papers where we are writing, the clothes that we have, that we are wearing right now, they will become a waste. What we really need to know is that this type of waste could have and be recycled. So welcome Sharik, she will come with their work team and thank us for saying this was a project for a project for a convocatory from 2022 in a concurse of Boyacá Departamental. The category was the winner in the conditions where you have to access to this type of resources and stimulus. The Secretary of the Socialization for this activity, the activity that they are gonna do, and what to best way to do it by music and the message that are useful for us to bring a good message that we are gonna share today and tomorrow in our second international meeting. Please, a great welcome to Sherry and all. Please, thank you, Sharon, to Milton, with their residual project.
Buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Shari Castellanos.
Everyone, I'm Sherry Castellanos. I'm fashion designer. We are starting this showroom telling you that this is the result of the project that won in the convocatory to stimulus of art and culture of Boyacá Department. Our first model has a jacket, a collection jacket, done by textile waste and recycle. Milton with a jacket with waste of jean specifically on the borders that normally we don't use. Jean, khaki color. The technique that we use is thermofunctionated. It means we get all the wasted that don't are modified, just we use as they are waste, and we recreate this waste to create the pattern to create the clothes. It's a process when we use the different pieces to create these clothes, and we would like to show you the different clothes that we have here.
Todos llegan ya, todo tiene un final. La pasión ya se esfumó, el dolor toma todo. Ella toma su camino, ni siquiera hay un adiós. Yo tomo mi camino, no merezco el adiós. Las almas nos cambian por algo.
El siguiente modelo lleva una chaqueta con
As a jacket with drill waist, black redress, and waist of clothes that were using before. Normally, when you use clothes to child, we have some spaces that we don't use.
todo tipo de residuos. También contarles que, como pueden ver,
Also, this is a showroom. It's not a fashion. I would like to share with you that our project has another results. We have also a workshop that I'm gonna telling you. And please, a big clap for our model.
Necesito confesión, mis demonios no son gratis, todo fue prueba y error. Desnudó todos mis temores, utilizó mi manipuló. Desnudé todos sus temores, solo fui su gran error. Su corazón nunca más
Don't buy waste. As I told you before, one of our experimental processes, because it was part of our project, it's to leave this experimental process how each part of the waste it's done. It was a waterproof clothes. So all the pieces are waterproof, and in the front it's a great real piece. Also, I would like to show that all our models are natures. This is our projects that these clothes can be wear, but anyone are unisex, different sizes that we do our clothes, and this is one of our ideas with this project. The piece that was the inspiration for this project was participated in International Photo Show on 29. It is an idea that was kept from that time. This dress it's done by different price of jean that in that time was mine. So I modified it and I used it to create this dress. The dress also has an stamp that are waste of fleece of the hot materials that we are using for this type of clothes. I wanted to show you this collection. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Chari, muchísimas
Sherry,
gracias a
thank
ti,
you
a
so much
Milton,
for
a
you, to
todo
Milton,
el
for
equipo que
all
ha
your
venido a
work
mostrar
team
tu trabajo, tu talento.
that
Una
has
pregunta
shown. I
pequeñita
have
que
a
nos
question
están
for you.
haciendo, ¿por qué
Why
reciclar, reutilizar o hacer
recycle,
aprovechamiento del
reutilize, and to
tejido?
take advantage of these clothes? Okay, in my profession, I realized, as everyone knows, all the fashion sector has a lot of waste as water, etc. And the best way and closer was doing the clothes waste that we are not using. So for me it's very interesting to maintain the original form of each waste of each residual of the clothes. Don't follow a pattern, just take the waste pieces and to build this stamp and to build the
Chari,
clothes.
muchísimas
Thank you,
gracias. Un fuerte
Shari.
aplauso entonces para
Thank you
ellos.
so much.
Los despedimos agradeciéndoles este
We are very
espacio
grateful for
interesante.
this space.
sin duda alguna ratificar que se pueden hacer cosas desde diferentes
This is
ángulos con el tema de
a great
aprovechamiento y
example
gestión
of how we
adecuada de
can
residuos.
utilize the
Con este
different
desfile o
ways.
este showroom
With this
terminamos, digamos,
showroom, we
cierra
are
esta primera
finishing
parte
to
del
our
segundo
first
encuentro
span
internacional
of
de
our
gestión de
second
residuos
international
en
meeting
tiempos
of
de cambio
waste
climático,
management
liderado por
in
Urbacer, Boyacá
change
7 días,
climatic times
Andesco y la
by
Universidad Santo Tomás.
Urbacer,
A quienes nos
Universidad
acompañan
Santo
en el
Tomás,
evento de
Andeco,
manera
Boyacá
presencial,
70,
los
the
invitamos a
people
este
that is
momento
here
a
in the
disfrutar de
event,
un
we are
refrigerio,
gonna
un
take a
espacio de coffee
break
break que tenemos
that
dispuesto
we
en la
have
parte
for you.
superior o más bien externa del auditorio que podrán encontrar en este momento. Entonces los invitamos a que salgan del auditorio, tomen a mano derecha las escaleras y nuevamente a mano derecha allí encontrarán el refrigerio. Y los invitamos, nos vemos nuevamente en 15 minutos acá para
Okay, the
iniciar
people that
con
is
la
connected
ponencia de
in the
Telma
streaming,
Zuribe
we are
con el
gonna
tema de
take a break
aprovechamiento de
of
residuos
15 minutes.
orgánicos en los
After
rellenos
that, we will
sanitarios.
have our
Entonces disfruten del
second
coffee break, nos
speaker.
vemos en
So,
15 minutos.
see
Muchas
you in
gracias.
15 minutes. Thank you so much.
Hace 24 años empezó a tejerse un nudo irrompible que representa la unión de las empresas más importantes del país. Empresas que no descansan en su objetivo de sumar al desarrollo de Colombia, de ofrecer servicios de calidad, y hemos tejido el poder de la conectividad. Esa posibilidad de unir al territorio, de ofrecer bienestar, de reducir las brechas sociales, de destacarnos ante los mercados internacionales, de competir con lealtad, de aprender el uno del otro y dar forma a ese país. En este proceso de contribuir a la calidad del aire y al bienestar de los ciudadanos. Día a día, mejoramos el servicio de acueducto en ciudades y municipios, inauguramos plantas de tratamiento de aguas, entre otras acciones de altísimo impacto. Hoy, estamos pensando en los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible. Abanderamos su causa. Pensamos en hacer bosques, en adaptarnos al cambio climático, en sumar al fin de la pobreza, en crecimiento económico, en ecosistemas, en ser agentes generadores de paz y en consolidar alianzas. Los desafíos del mundo son nuestros propios desafíos. Son Asociación Nacional de Empresas de Servicios Públicos y Comunicación. ANESCO. El gremio en el que tiene que estar.
aproveitamento, visto que não é muito atrativo para a comercialização. As desvantagens requerem uma separação eficiente dos resíduos, este ponto é o principal, sendo uma segregação adequada na fonte, o composto não perde pouco seu valor para poder ter composto mais rico, né? Necessita mercado para revender o composto, essa é a principal desvantagem. Quando são mal operados, os líquidos e gases generados podem contaminar o meio ambiente. Os custos da recorrida diferenciada da fração orgânica dos resíduos são muito mais elevados e também se requer uma área relativamente grande para operar as fileiras, para a maturação dos desechos. Também temos o processo de incineração. No Brasil está pouquito desenvolvido, ainda não teremos muito projetos em desenvolvimento para a incineração, pois é uma realidade já que no futuro também não teremos muitas áreas disponíveis para a implantação de novos aterros. O objetivo da incineração é o tratamento térmico e redução também do volume de resíduos, com o aproveitamento também simultâneo da energia contenida. A energia recuperada se pode utilizar para a produção de calor e a produção de eletricidade, por exemplo. Como benefícios, teríamos novamente menos área requerida para a disposição dos resíduos, além do potencial de valorização de energia superior aos rellenos, já que estaríamos falando de processos caloríficos muito mais grandes, menos área requerida para a instalação das estruturas, diferentemente dos rellenos sanitários, que necessitam grandes áreas, e também a redução da emissão de odores e ruídos também. Como desvantagem, especificamente altos custos de instalação, operação e mantenimento para o tratamento dos resíduos, e inviabilidade de produção em caso de resíduos com excesso de umidade, pequenos poder calorífico ou clorado. Acá estamos falando de las matérias orgânicas que dificultariam pouco o desenvolvimento do processo. Outra tecnologia bastante em desenvolvimento em Brasil seria a questão de combustíveis derivados de resíduos, os chamados CDRs, que se produzem mediante a trituração dos resíduos para seu uso como combustível. Então, nós aproveitamos os materiais com alto poder calorífico, tipicamente ao redor de 18 megajoules por quilograma, recuperados da recuperação dos desechos, e os principais beneficiários deste processo seriam os hornos de cimento e as centrais elétricas. Nós produzimos com este composto tipo de resíduo com grande poder calorífico que pode ser substituído dos recursos naturais em los hornos de cimento. Em Brasil, hoje temos alguns projetos em desenvolvimento, licenciamento ambiental para a implantação deste processo. E quais seriam os principais benefícios deste processo? Interrupção dos processos biológicos de fermentação para conservar e almacenar também o substrato durante meses e anos, possibilidade de armazenamento em silos, o que permite uma melhor modulação da produção de energia frente à queima direta dos resíduos sólidos urbanos. Também teríamos como agregar valor aos resíduos, a transformação também dos resíduos em uma alternativa energética, redução das emissões e geração de contaminantes, possibilitando a obtenção também de bônus de carbono, e também a ampliação de vida útil dos rellenos, Como desvantagens, claro, temos alto consumo de energia elétrica que se pode dissipar, não recuperável, a dissipação também de metais ao meio ambiente, mediante o uso de metais de trituradores em las ligas de estes equipos, e também a possibilidade de contaminação de los CDRs por la presença de metais, visto que pode ser dispor resíduos misturados e isto pode causar certo problema. Em processo derivado destes combustíveis, teremos também o coprocessamento, que seria tecnologia para a disposição final de resíduos em hornos cimenteiros, que nos genera novos resíduos e também contribui à preservação dos recursos naturais, ao substituir matérias-primas e combustíveis fósseis em processo de fabricação de cimento. Então, aqui teríamos todo o processo. Primeiro se recebe a amostra de resíduo de generador para sua análise, estando apta a amostra pode ser aceitada e coordena a recoleção, se armazena de maneira segura e lá se prepara para trituração, mescla e também posteriormente para a queima, a disposição final em los hornos cimenteiros. Combustível certificado, listo para processar em horno cimenteiro. Todo este processo depende também de todo licenciamento, estabelecimento de condições ideais normatizadas para processá-los. Acá só uma ilustração para termos em conta que no Brasil teremos uso potencial tanto para coprocessamento quanto para reciclagem, pero nossos índices ainda são muito baixos em comparação com os países mais desenvolvidos. Então, teremos muito trabalho a fazer ainda. Como benefícios deste coprocessamento, teríamos menor custo de produção, já que substitui o combustível convencional, a generação de utilidades com resíduos e resíduos que seriam também dispostos em rellenos, a eliminação segura de resíduos peligrosos, de acordo com a legislação, eliminação de riscos com passivos ambientais em futuro, aproveitamento também de poder calorífico de los resíduos para gerar a energia térmica. Teríamos dois benefícios aqui, tanto o aproveitamento quanto a generação de energia, diminuição da emissão de partículas na atmosfera e redução de uso de recursos naturais não renováveis, que é problema muito atual. Além da diminuição da disposição de resíduos sólidos em regiões sanitárias, aumentando consequentemente a vida útil. E como desvantagens, se considera que o pré-tratamento e seleção dos resíduos, se realizado de maneira insatisfatória, pode gerar emissões não desejadas à atmosfera devido à presença de toxinas e também metais pesados. Isto é problema que se deve tomar muito cuidado na hora de executar. E também teremos a logística inversa, de acordo com a nossa Política Nacional de Resíduos em Brasil, em seu artigo 33, estão obrigados a estruturar e implementar sistemas de logística inversa em la devolução de los produtos depois de seu uso ao consumidor, com independência de serviço público de aseo urbano e manejo de resíduos sólidos. Os fabricantes, importadores, distribuidores e comercializadores de los seguintes resíduos: plaguicidas, resíduos em envases, pilhas e baterias, pneumáticos, aceites lubrificantes, resíduos em envases, lâmpadas, produtos eletrônicos e seus componentes. Então, isto é uma obrigação de los próprios fabricantes de fazer a logística inversa. Isto não é uma obrigação de serviço público. Então, isto está em nossa lei e deve ser cumprido. Então, qual seria a logística inversa, o processo? A indústria produz e embala os produtos que se distribuem para comercializar-se, depois e se vende ao consumidor, depois da vida útil, se recorre e se envia para que seja reciclado. Todo este processo deve ser feito pela própria indústria. Temos em Brasil alguns processos já bastante desenvolvidos, outros não, ainda carecem de maior desenvolvimento para cumprir a norma. E os principais objetivos, benefícios seriam economia produtivo da empresa, o valor de utilizar o resíduo é menor da extração e transporte de matéria-prima, diminuição dos impactos ambientais, saúde pública, como proliferação de vetores e agentes patógenos, fomentar também o uso de tecnologias mais eficientes que facilitem a reutilização de los resíduos devolvidos à empresa e a elaboração de envases e produtos mais fáceis de reciclar, por exemplo. Alguns produtores já estão desenvolvendo essa tecnologia. Pontos também de recorrida compartidos com os fabricantes, o que facilitaria o processo todo. Como desvantagens, teremos a dificuldade para rastrear os produtos, os resíduos desde seu momento de devolução hasta seu destino final, para sabermos se estão sendo cumpridos todos os objetivos. Aumento de los gastos de transporte, claramente a indústria tem que contabilizar todo este processo. A inversão inicial em logística inversa é muito alta, especialmente quando se trata de cambios de envases, estandarização. É problema que a indústria acaba não querendo desenvolver, mas é uma vantagem também para ela. Requer uma grande planificação com controle total do ciclo de vida do produto, equipos e sócios involucrados, e também a dificuldade em capacitar os sócios para assistir em controle logístico inverso do produto. Acá estão listados alguns aspectos relevantes em la economia circular com relação aos rellenos sanitários especificamente. Em quais seriam? A recoleção seletiva de materiais, recuperação de materiais recicláveis, comercialização destes materiais e também a reinserção de materiais em processos produtivos ou industriais. Estes são os principais aspectos que devem ser em conta quando estamos falando de rellenos sanitários. Em Brasil, quais seriam os principais avanços em instrumentos regulatórios? A gestão de resíduos sólidos especificamente, se han utilizado vários instrumentos econômicos, em Brasil e também em países desenvolvidos, como criação de impostos, taxas, subsídios e também compras públicas sustentáveis. Sin embargo, as circunstâncias de los países em desenvolvimento devem ter-se em conta para que sejam eficazes. De nada adianta se não teremos a evolução desses processos todos e da criação desses instrumentos econômicos. Também, nos países em desenvolvimento, os instrumentos devem ver-se como incentivos para o câmbio de comportamento e não como uma fonte de ingressos públicos. Además, qualquer ingresso generado deve estar
each income must be generated to a taxes normal.
E também os instrumentos de política para
Also, the different political tools to support the income gestión tools.
Identificam os resíduos como uma prioridade, o que até agora não ha sido feito por la maioria dos países de América Latina no mundo. Nós temos que criar uma prioridade para.
We must create a priority to manage the waste. The main factors that affect all the quality system operation is the lack of investment lack of finance management and economic, lack of formal management, technical and operation, lack of equipment installations management, discontinuing politic, and the lack and also the lack public administrative. Now we are gonna see some illustrations to look how work the hierarchy of waste, elimination, reusing, a little soil only, but in Latin American and Caribbean countries we have a hierarchy of values. According también, almost the 30% of all has been ranked. Specifically, the panoramic in Brazil, according the data of 2021, the solid recollection has a reach very relevant in Brazil, considered an universal, and the different we can have almost a lot of coverture. In 2021, are almost 80 millions of waste recipients in 2021, and almost 76 millions of waste were recollected. Analyzing these numbers, it seems that data generation is in similar levels that like social economy in medium high, also around $10,000 per year. And in countries with median incomes, high incomes, the recollection reached almost the 90% of generation. Nevertheless, in Brazil, this is not a revelation. According to data, we will have almost 40% of the recollecting wastings and are from landfills that are not controlled, and for the final disposition that it's inadequate. That looks a comparison with countries that with less incomes per capita less than $1,000. It means the calculating it's much cheaper and efficient invest in infrastructure to the waste population, the double of resources with sanitary treatment. As a consequence, landfills that are provided for more than decades, it's a reality in all the regions of the country. In Brazil, here I want to show you a comparison of what it looks that much if it's bigger and the development we will have a more disposition final and the sea. It's more development in the south area. Also, it's a little development in the north of the country. What are the global and local impacts? Local impacts according to relation, health issues, environment, and economy. In a global impact, we have no resources, global warming, like important, and also the sea garbage. What are our main challenge and opportunities to develop a better just management about this waste? The challenges are according to the quantity of waste are not reducing, are increasing, just increasing the composition of waste and also the risk for health and environment. As the opportunity, we can recycle materials, opportunity to create employments and to improve the social issue and to mitigate the global warming, climate change. These ones are the challenges and opportunities that we should improve in other countries. According these necessities to reduce the generation, in Brazil we are developing a new technology to increase the life cycle of the landfill. I want to present to you what are the main objectives. In Brazil, we have a lot of difficulties because we don't have adequate areas, and for environmental issues, we don't have areas where we can install new landfills. So, what means this technology? We would like to a vertical model to restructure and with the main objective to don't contaminate new areas for the installment of new landfills. Also, don't increase the cost of these new areas. Here I'm showing you an example of what we are developing in Manaus region in the north of Brazil, near to Colombia. Today we will have a traditional proportion just to extend the volume of the area, almost 3 cubic millions to the final deposition. This is the traditional proportion. The maximum inclination is 2 times horizontal and 1 vertical to the height of the boxers, with a final elevation of 145 meters. What will be the new proposal, the alternative? We would like to vertical throw materials, geosynthetics, geomalias, for example, that it works like a structure to contain surrounding all the landfill that will give you an additional volume to these walls. The infrastructure will have inclinations, but will give a better strength to the walls. In this example, we did an example considering the area that is circled in red, that we will be an implantation of this contention structure that will be a possibility to get a double of volume to this final dispositions, almost 3 million cubic meters, and we will have almost 8 million meters cubics in the same area that we are speaking about it. In a proposal and more development, we will implant a contention infrastructure surrounding the landfill, and we will reach 3 million cubic meters for waste, almost 4 times that the first alternative. What it means, a little summary to taking in account the proposal, the additional proposal. We will have from April 2019 an additional volume of 3 million in a life cycle util for 4 years. According the first alternative, we'll have an additional volume of almost 8 million cubic meters to waste that will give a life cycle more than 10 years and an additional cost of 6 reals per waste tons. If we do the counts, we will compensate to don't need a new area because it and in the second proposal, our volume reach almost 3 million of cubic meters. That will give us more than 16 years of life cycles. That it means as additional cost of 9 reals per hour. It is in a technological development, but it shows us a new possibility against. We don't have yet the technology to reduce the final waste disposition. Thank you so much again. If you have some questions, please let me know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Telma, for your presentation. Another of our international speakers right now. We want to greet two people that are looking at us from Tunja, where we are doing the second international meeting of management waste organized by Urbanizer. We are going to connect with them, but meanwhile, we are here with our schedule. The next conference is about the new framework fee by Jorge Enrique Cardoso, expert. Okay, we have been together with the fifth seminary, Solids of UNESCO. They are in Bogota City. We have seen Telma Brasici from Brazil with her conference. I have a new Terma Sumi finish her conference, and she starts because she's visiting right now at the final panel that we are going to be here with the four speakers. Okay, Mister. We are closing this first schedule. See you again at 2 p.m. You can go to lunch and see you. Our next streaming will be 12:15 for people that it's here. Marcelo, he's gonna ask you, and he's gonna give a conference about is it the final life cycle of the landfill. This is gonna be one of the conference that we are expected today. So 2 p.m. with the great experience Chilean expert. I'm totally sure that will be an unexpected and a wonderful event. Mister, I would like to add for people to motivate at 2 p.m. Mr. Marcel, tell me if it exists a novel about landfills and waste management, then Mr. Marcelo will be the person who wins this novel. So he's gonna start at 2 p.m. and we are gonna enjoy what we are gonna learn about the landfills. Please, would be amazing if you can invite some friends, some colleagues to leave this conference. See you at 2 p.m. Thank you so much. We will come back at 2 p.m. through our streamings. Urbacer Colombia, YouTube, Urbacer Duitama in Facebook, and also for the rest of our operations, Swacha, Fakatativa, Jumba Buga, also in Popayan. We are Monterrey and Eje Cafetero. Happy evening, happy lunch. See you at 2 p.m. Thanks.